Warning! The Stone Age Gamer podcast includes a lot of bad language. Cover your motherfucking ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer podcast. I am Kris Randazzo and joining me tonight is an excellent question, Dan Ryan.
Yes, 100%.
Hundo P. You have questions and we have answers. It's time for the SAG Mailbag, where we respond to your burning queries with the knowledge you seek. How many questions will we answer? I'm on vacation, so pretend I wrote something clever here, because the Stone Age Gamer podcast starts now.
This is so dangerous. Everyone. I really thought it was the 10, 20, 30, 40.
What's the 10, 20, 30, 40?
I thought that's what tonight was, and I'm jacked up on steroids, and I'm going to be honest. This is a very dangerous episode now. Shit.
Well, now I'm really excited. It's the episode 546. It's the week of December 27th, 2024, and welcome. For anyone new here, this is the official podcast of StoneAgeGamer.com, as Coach Z would say. Dan and I talk every week about what's happening in the world of video games from a retro gamer's perspective, as well as whatever the hell else is going on in their lives. And speaking of which, how you doing, Dan?
Okay, so today's been an interesting day. Today is a day where I met with my oncologist this morning. He is very frustrated. He was very apologetic about the neuropathy that I've been experiencing in my hands and my feet because he is a doctor. He wants to heal people, not hurt them. But one of the most effective drugs to get rid of the slut cancer that I have causes neuropathy as well. And I have been taking slut neuropathy. Awesome. I have been taking Cymbalta, which is an antidepressant, not because I'm depressed, but because one of the interesting side effects of Cymbalta is that it handles the pain that is associated with some of these chemotherapy drugs, specifically this one that causes neuropathy. So the excruciating pain that I was in has gone away. However, I'm still kind of fucking stumbly when I stand up, and I've dropped a couple of things. And like I said, it's making certain types of gaming more difficult. So he was very frustrated by that. Still very, very positive.
Gaming, you're just not doing the Connect Sports and the Wii Resort, the bowling.
That's right. No, I'm just. It's only I can only move my eyes. That's it.
The Star Wars Just Dance game.
Oh well, that I can do fine. I'll fucking cut a rug. Don't you dare assume that I can't. I won't let cancer keep me from Star Wars Just Dancing or something. So
I don't remember which game that was. Anyway, sorry. Go on. Sorry to derail.
No, it's fine. So he's frustrated, still feeling very, very positive. Today was number 10 out of 12. So 2 more, man. We're a month away. We're like January 17th. He said I'll get a scan about 6 weeks after that. And that'll let me know what what we're doing going forward. We're either in remission 6 weeks later, or we need to do something else. He's very confident that we will be in remission. Doesn't mean it's 100%. So that's going to be a very weird 6 weeks. That's going to kind of go back to the first 6 weeks of, I don't know, maybe. Let's hope it's not worse than what this seems like it is. Because, oh boy, do I have to start making plans, or do I have to start making plans? You know, like that was the first 6 weeks of this, is what are we really looking at? So that'll be interesting. But then Tiff and I went and did a bunch of Christmas shopping today. And, cause I'm jacked up on steroids and I can do it today, and I got paid today. So I am now broke today because we went and did a bunch of Christmas shopping, and we, got a bunch of stuff for the kids and got Hell Divers for Katie, and got Pen a new computer, because her computer just shit the bed the other day. And it was legitimately, as I was saying before we started, a 15-year-old computer. So the fact that it has lasted this long with all the stupid shit that they've done to it, that I've done to it over the years, because it was my computer until a computer was sent to me. Ooh, hold please. Tiff is calling me, and that's not a great sign. Evan, edit. 7 minutes and 11 seconds. Back in, said Jesus. We got Penn a new computer.
Start talking this evening.
He really is. It's almost his birthday. He's excited.
That's true. He's got a lot to be excited for.
He really does. He really does. This is a big one this year, I think, or not. I don't actually know or care.
I think once you get past 100, they're all big ones.
Yeah, right? This is another fucking milestone for old Jeezy Creasy. Sorry. There is a chance that tonight's episode is hysterical or offensive or both. And I apologize. So the computer that we had is 15 years old, whatever. But it just totally is done. So we got Penn a new computer that can be upgraded throughout time, with like a new processor, graphics card, whatever. Got Katie a TV as well. Bunch of other stuff. Right. So I made a decision while we were out shopping. And this is something that I've struggled with over the last 6 months or so, since I have been home, going through treatment and not working in the city as much. I'm the one who takes the kids to school. Okay. And they dress in a manner as if it looks like they don't belong to anybody. The kids go into the school, dress in a manner and this is what my grandmother used to say, you look like you don't belong to anybody. Like, go brush your fucking hair. You're 15. Brush your goddamn hair. And when you get to school, tell that fucking schmuck that I saw walking up there to brush their hair too. You look like you don't fucking belong to anybody. And I don't know why I care about I think I care about this because my grandmother cared about it. So it's just been beaten into me. And then
hygiene's important.
Hygiene's important, but also COVID made it okay for people to leave the house in their pajamas. And like,
COVID didn't do that. Walmart did that, and it's been doing it for 20 years.
But not here. Not where I live, anyway. And this sounds elitist as shit. I get that. I really do. And I'm not being an elitist prick about it, I don't think. I might be. That's fucking fine. But since COVID, like everybody, like people just go to work in their fucking pajamas and like go to the store in their pajamas. Like you look like a fucking bum. So I made a decision. I said, if that doesn't matter anymore, like if nobody cares about that and the results of the election show that nobody cares about anything anymore, I made two choices tonight. I am from now on just no longer going to censor myself when I'm out in public. So it's going to be this in Target, in Wawa, in a diner. That's it. I've decided I just don't care anymore. But also that I am going to start pronouncing silent H's in words where we don't say them. And I'm very, very happy about all of these choices that I have made this evening. Because Penn came home and we got their report cards recently and she made the honor roll. And I think that is just a wonderful thing that we should celebrate her first semester as a freshman. She has made honor roll. And if I am being honest, I'm sort of disappointed that Katie did not.
I think the only way this works is if you stop pronouncing regular H's as well. If you're going to go that far, you may as well go all the fucking way.
Like I'm looking up here at famous Yankee catcher to Herman Munson. I love to Herman Munson. And if I sit and to hink about it, he's probably my favorite Yankee catcher of all time.
Is that a silent H, though?
It's not, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't fucking care.
You're just going to start adding syllables to everything.
Yes, 100%. I'm just pronouncing H's in different ways. Because nothing matters, Chris. And I said that out loud. I said I was going to tell you about it. And the kids were like, don't you mean Kris? And I said, no, that asshole spells his name with a K.
That's right.
So I can't even call you Kris.
But you can call me Christopher.
I can, but I can also wish you a Merry Christmas, which is very exciting. So this is what I'm going to do. Going to the store to buy some herbs. They were like, Dad, don't you have to go record? And I was like, I don't have to record for another half an hour. It's going to be.
So is it half an hour or half a hour?
Half and hour or half an hour. Either way. You know, I don't, D's, whatever.
Well,
it's fine.
I think you have to do it half a hour instead of N.
Half a hour.
Half a hour.
It's in half a hour. That's right.
Ooh, 31:24. Not bad.
This is a very excellent choice that I've made. So after I made these decisions and then thoroughly annoyed my wife all throughout Target, Tiff was not happy to be with me in those moments. As I am legit walking through Target going, do you think that they will like this?
Did she threaten to smack the shit out of you?
She did. I asked her if she was upset because she maybe had to take a whiz. Said, look at this one, it's white. Why are you acting this way? Do you have to take a whiz? Very funny. Anyway, so we get done with Target and we ordered food from Chipotle. As we...
I'm sorry, where?
Chipotle? 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 I think is how
Chipotle.
It's one of my favorite restaurants, Chipotle. Chipotle, maybe? I don't know. Fuck. It's easier when I can see them written down.
Your plan's already falling apart, Dan. I don't know.
Oh my God, I know. I'm so fucking tired and loopy at the moment. So, but we got to the drive-thru where I was asked, I think without question, the stupidest fucking question that any employee of any place has ever asked me in my 44 years on this planet. And if this person, for some cosmic reason, happens to be a listener of this show, I apologize for feeling the way that I do, but it was a really stupid fucking question. He hands the bag to me, 2 bags, and he's holding them out the window. It's snowing, kind of, where I live. It's wet snow, but they're flakes, and it kind of looked like I was traveling through light speed, and I really love that when I'm driving. He's
Me too.
Holding the bags out of the window. And he goes, oh, wait a second. And he pulls the bag back into the fucking restaurant and goes, did you want anything in these cups? And I looked at him for like a minute, and I just didn't say anything. And Tiff is in the passenger seat next to me, and she goes, one's a Dr. Pepper, one's a watermelon lemonade, or whatever the fuck drink Chipotle has. And he was like, all right, well, but which one? One's a large and one's a medium. And I was like, it's printed on the fucking receipt with my name. It's got my name. It's got the children's names. The 2 of the meals came with fucking drinks. And it says on the receipt, Dr. Pepper, do you want anything in the cups, Kris? No, I don't. I paid extra so that I could drink.
In a bag on the side?
No, I only drink out of Chipotle cups. Everybody knows that about me. Every restaurant I go to, I go to fucking Roost Chris Steakhouse, and they're like, what would you like to drink, sir? I say, whatever your finest bottle is, but pour it in this fucking Chipotle cup that I stopped and picked up on my way in, because they're better. Fuck! How was that a question that was asked?
And this is how I know you've been out of public service for too long. Because, like...
I haven't been in public in, like, 6 months.
Has it gotten
that bad?
It's always been that bad. You can't assume a customer wants anything. Oh, did you want something in these cups? Or no, I just wanted the cups.
Did you want something in these cups that are clearly marked with what is supposed to go in them, including the sizes of said cups? No,
all
I changed my mind.
All that needed to happen was that, like, some customer would have went to that Chipotle or whatever and ordered the drinks, and then they handed them the drinks with the water, with the liquid in them, and they said, "I just wanted the cups."
Just wanted the
and then
cups.
All of a sudden, you ruined it for everybody else.
Did you? He took the cups out of the bag. They were in the bag to just go with me. They were in the bag.
I mean, you look like the kind of guy who just wants cups. I don't know what to tell you, Dan.
So you gotta be fucking kidding me. If I was a different person, I'd have leapt out of my car and strangled this poor young man for being so just irredeemably fucking stupid. It's the dumbest thing anyone has ever said to me. I can't. It's broken me. It's completely broken me.
500's too many. Yeah, see, I don't know. I look at that poor guy and I have to wonder what made him ask that question. Because, like, my immediate thought is, this guy had a situation before where someone gave him shit for putting drinks in the cups for them.
I
wanted the cups so that I could walk inside the store and fill them myself. Like, there's so many stupid fucking things that really stupid fucking people could have said to this poor person before to make that a valid question in their brain. Like, yeah, it was probably just their stupidity, but you can't rule out the possibility that the person responsible for printing on coffee lids warning contents hot asked something so profoundly stupid that this poor Chipotle employee is now broken on the inside forever.
You may be Righity, but see, it's a pretty good fucking choice. I think.
I don't know about that, Dan.
I don't know. And I'm gonna keep saying sword. I know it's sword. Fuck off. It's more fun that way. Oh God, you may be right, Chris.
I may be wrong.
I may be the asshole in this situation, but the indignity of having to answer that question as a grown man, like, son, this is not the line of work for you. It's Friday night, the week before Christmas. There is a line of fucking cars out here. I hope you are not legitimately asking every person that comes through this line if they would like things in their cups. And on top of all of that, they didn't give Penner fucking apple juice. And apple juice is like $6 at Chipotle.
Oh my God.
And I wasn't going back there because if I had to go back in, somebody wasn't leaving.
Did you want this in the cup, or did you just want the soda loose in the bag?
Yeah. What are the other options? That's it. What else could you put it in? See, and like, if I were not so fucked up right now, like, I would have asked, what are my options? Where else could you put the beverage? Could you put it in a bag? Could you put it in the fucking bowl that I got? Like, could you give me another bowl? Probably 2 metal ones, though, because, like the recycled ones get soggy pretty quickly.
Could you freeze it into cubes and wrap it up in a tortilla?
That I will then microwave when I get home and drink with a straw? Make sure you wrap the bottom of it, but not the top. Fuck. Like, how else do I get beverages? Except in the fucking cups or the already sealed bottles that you have that you didn't give me.
Well, we're off to a great start.
This was my day, Chris.
I'm sorry.
This was my fucking day.
Well, I mean, I had a pretty fun day. I didn't, get my brain broken by Chipotle employees, but yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, I think it was yesterday. Yeah. So remember how I did that one party for Ellie's Halloween party at school? Yeah.
You went to the school. Yeah.
I showed up and was like, awesome and saved the day. So I wasn't on the second party. They just had me on the first one and then the spring party. So the Christmas party, I wasn't part of, but I was on the email, but I'm not assigned to it. So it's not my fucking problem. And I'm watching them all email each other. And
it seems like it's about to be.
Nobody's answering anybody's questions. Everyone's just going back and forth. And I'm like, it's not my fucking problem. I'm out. So eventually, the one mom that was never answering, they specifically tagged her in the email like, we need you to do something. What can you do to help out with the party? And she was like, my kid was transferred out of this class in October. So I'm not a room parent there anymore.
It's awesome. Thanks for letting us all know, Betsy.
You've been on this email chain for like a month and a half, and nothing. You couldn't have said this earlier, but okay. So then the other 2 moms emailed back and forth, and like, I think we're on our own. And I just chimed in and was like, you need a body? Like, I can read stories. Like, if they needed somebody to read stories to the class, fuck yes, I can do that. I can read stories to the class.
Zoomed in.
And they needed somebody to make sweets. And I just happened to be making those same things that I made for the Halloween party again as Christmas cookies this year to give out to people. So like, I was already pre-packaged, ready to go on this thing. And they were like, "Oh my God, yes, please help us." Like, all right, cool. I'll bring the cupcake things and I'll come in and read. All is well. So I get there and I'm immediately surrounded by like 5 kids who are like, "You're the one who brought those cupcake things last time, right?" Like, yep. And I got a whole fresh batch of them here. Like, they were lined up, ready for these things, and they all thanked me, and it was great. It was a lot of fun. It was not as entertaining a party as last time. Like, the other moms they did not have their shit together in the least as far as like how to put this together. And since I had only been on this for a day, I was not jumping and take charge of things. I just kind of nudged people in certain directions, but like,
yeah.
They maybe played like a game for 4 minutes at the end before they ran out of time, and the kids were just like running amok and eating sweets. And it was one of the kids' birthdays, so their mom brought in pizza, and it was like the whole thing was a mess.
That's great.
Yeah, it was great, but it was a mess. And
sounds like utter chaos.
Yeah, chaos indeed. So that was fun, and I'm officially on vacation as of noon today, so that makes me really happy. I'm just kind of trying my best to chill out and not do anything work-related besides this podcast. And that's not 100% true. I do plan recreationally to probably chip away at my next Mario video at some point during this vacation, just to sit down here and non-stress edit my Mario video from time to time. But really, my big question is, I don't know, like, I clearly should be playing a game of some kind, but I don't know what to play. Like, I have obviously a humongous backlog.
You have so much. Yeah.
I have so many to play, but like, nothing's striking me as like, this is the mood I'm in. Like, oh, this is the game that I've been meaning to play this one for a long time, and now I have a little bit of time. Maybe I'm going to do that. The only thing that's jumping out at me right now, and only because John's been into it so much lately, or like the at least a piece of it, is Undertale. I've never played Undertale before.
Undertale's great.
So maybe this is my time to play Undertale. Maybe it's my time to jump into Advance Wars 2, like I did the first one, but I didn't do the second one, so I could do that one. I'm not entirely sure what else. Or maybe I'll just, do nothing. Maybe I'll just keep playing Vampire Survivors until I die.
I just let Jesus take the wheel. Whatever
Jesus,
happens.
take the wheel.
The wheel.
So, I don't know, but here we are. Almost
Sorry,
Christmas.
There's a bit of a wheeze.
The
audio.
Well, Christmas is a few days away. I'm feeling festive. I've got the. Do
you have the candy bowl?
I'm ready. What's that?
The M&M mix?
Yeah,
I've heard nothing about the M&M mix this year, and I'm sitting here half stocked, ready to finish.
I put it together. It's there. We already ate all the stuff that we could eat, and I've got it all bagged up for the people we're giving it out to. But it's slightly less remarkable this year because there weren't any interesting new flavors, and other flavors have gone away. Fucking fudge brownie's gone, and that's a travesty because the fudge brownie M&Ms are great, and they really tied the mix together.
There was a new one this year that Tiff gave me. That tasted like Mexican hot chocolate. That might have been what it was.
Oh, I remember hearing about that one. There was another Christmassy one that sounds really good. But there wasn't anything new this year that wouldn't hugely clash with the mix.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I
don't think it was called Mexican hot chocolate. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. I think it was called something else, but it was very tasty. I'm not a big M&M guy. But that one in particular was I could eat a bag of these.
I am going to be making Christmas cookies this
size
weekend.
My ass.
I have several ideas for some new Christmas cookies. I'm going to make more of those, those cookie cupcake brownie things that I made for class. I'm going to make another batch of those to give out to people. But I'm also going to be trying several recipes I found on the internets while watching dopey cooking videos with Ellie throughout the course of the year that I'm pretty excited about. There's a cinnamon toast crunch cookie that sounds really fun. A brookie swirl kind of a thing. Some involving white chocolate, just a handful of different Christmas cookies to kind of add on top of Karen's usual mix of Christmas cookies. I'm gonna be doing a lot of baking this weekend. That's my plan.
That's awesome. What is your favorite type of Christmas cookie?
Karen makes these chocolate gingerbread cookies. I think those are my favorite.
That sounds really good.
I really like the classic Hershey Kiss and the peanut butter cookie situation.
I was just going to say, that is my favorite.
Those were my favorite, but I think the chocolate gingerbread ones have overtaken it. They're really fucking good. I mean, I'll always have a soft spot for those, but and there's nothing quite like just a good old fashioned chocolate chip cookie is pure perfection. So that's always fair. A fun time.
I do love a good chocolate chip. Katie, you know what? Hold on. Leave this in. I don't care. Katie goes by Robbie now.
Okay.
I talked to him about it. I talked to you about it, but I talked to him about it. He said he doesn't care if it's mentioned on the podcast. And if I keep saying Katie here, it's hard for me to fucking switch back. I already got to do it in certain situations or whatever. He's not out at school. To everybody, just certain classmates. We're going through it.
They don't listen to this podcast.
They don't listen to this podcast anyway. Although they might. I don't know. He's got this one friend that said that he was going to whoop my ass in fucking Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And I was like, well, you better hope I don't get that shit for Christmas because you're officially invited over, you 15-year-old shit. I'm going to fuck you up, dude. Hard. It's going to be bad for you. Anyway, Katie goes by Robbie and Penn. So there, I don't have a problem with it. I don't care. As I said to him, when he and Tiff just dropped it on me one day, 3-4 months ago, I think at this point, when I came upstairs from doing the podcast. And I was like, look, I don't care. I just want you to be happy. I'm not going to beat cancer to live the rest of my life and then have a fight with you about something so fucking stupid as to what you want me to call you. That's fucking dumb. Yeah, I'm not going to lose you over that but go through this. You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense to me. And he's also not I want to take all the pictures down and that's my dead name and all, not any of that shit. Because in a somewhat refreshing, nuanced take on trans identity and all of that sort of thing, he has lived that other life and claimed that other life and acknowledges it as legitimate and it happened and all of those things. But anyway, I'm just tired of saying Katie on the fucking podcast. So anyway, there you go. Robbie makes black and white cookies at times. And it doesn't matter what time of year it is. Now back into the bullshit. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. If somebody puts a black and white cookie in front of me, that is now my favorite cookie of like all time. So that like, if they're on a Christmas cookie plate, those are my favorite Christmas cookies. I will fucking murder a bitch for a good black and white cookie. Which I don't think is a thing that they really have outside of the Northeast. I could be wrong. But, like, I don't think I could go somewhere in, like, Minnesota and get a fucking egg cream and a black and white, you know?
I've always found black and white cookies to be strangely overrated. Like, I think they're really good, but I've never had one and been like, holy fucking shit. I've had them and been like, wow, that's a really good cookie. But I've never been like, you know, I got to sit down. Like,
I have had sit down black and white cookies from a couple different places. The only one I can remember off the top of my head right now is the Waldwick Bakery in North Jersey. Those are just the fucking, you know that scene, or there's multiple scenes in Once Upon a Time in Mexico when Johnny Depp like orders the same meal and then goes to the back and shoots the chef because it's so good. I feel that way about these black and white cookies. Like, I order the same thing everywhere I go, and if it's too good, I have to go back and shoot the chef. Like, it's that fucking crazy. But that's me. I totally get the black and the white. Like, it can be, depending on if they don't get the texture of the black and the white correct, along with the cookie underneath. Like, there's a lot of ways it can go wrong. Sometimes the vanilla side, the white side, they put too much lemon in there, and I like a little bit of lemon to kind of balance out the bitterness of the chocolate that is sometimes that, like, there's a very delicate balance that is walked in a black and white cookie. But you fucking sit me down at an old school, like, soda jerk with a fucking black and white and a chocolate egg cream, and I'm good. That's my happy place, because I'm a fat kid. But I am, Chris, there was one other thing that happened today, and you're still doing your gambler thing, right? So I wanted to...
No, that's done. I'm trying to figure out this stupid thing my computer's doing.
Oh, well, do that, because I did become officially depressed today, I think, in, like, a silly way. But I'm unhappy, okay? And here's the reason I'm unhappy. You know, and I think our listeners know, longtime listeners anyway, that I am an absolute fucking maniac for Masters of the Universe. He-Man and Masters of the Universe was my life as a kid for a very, very long time, over Transformers, G.I. Joe, Turtles, the whole thing. He-Man was my guy. My office is covered in a ton of He-Man shit. I still read every new He-Man thing that comes out. I still buy toys. Like, the whole I love He-Man. The way all you fuckers love Mario is the way I love He-Man. So they are making a new live-action He-Man movie. They're making a new Masters of the Universe. Do you know any of the cast yet, Chris?
I do not, actually.
Okay, let me give you a couple people.
You just reminded me of something else I need to talk to you about, but go on.
Let me give you a couple people. We start off very, very strong. I think, maybe. I don't know. She's a good actress. I don't know that I see her as Evil Lynn, but Alison Brie is Evil Lynn. Okay. It's a choice. I think she's a good actress.
I feel like she can do anything.
I do too.
Cast her as whatever the fuck you want. I'm sure she will pull it off.
Cast her as the motherfucking shark in Jaws. Love Affleck. Idris Elba is Man-at-Arms. I think that's a great choice.
Yeah,
Idris Elba's awesome. The dude that they have playing He-Man is Nicholas Galitzine. I do not know him from anything, but okay. Camila Mendez is on a TV show. She's playing Tila. Kojo Ada, who's on House of the Dragon, I think. And Sam C. Wilson, or he might be House of the Dragon. They're Triclops, Trapjaw. The Mountain from Game of Thrones is playing Beastman. Yeah, right? Beastman, the Mountain, CGI like they did with fucking Josh Brolin to be Thanos. I'm in, okay? And then today, they announced who is playing Skeletor. Now, I should motherfucking be playing Skeletor right now the way I look. No, I already don't have eyebrows. Like, what more do you need? There's no hair anywhere. Just really interesting. It certainly shouldn't be Frank Langella. It shouldn't have been Frank Langella the first time. That was fucking dog shit. I don't know who I want to be Skeletor. What I do know is that I don't want who they cast as Skeletor.
Is it John Cena?
I would prefer John Cena. I would prefer John Cena Riley, because I think that's what the C stands for in John C. Riley. It's a little known fact. They're brothers.
Is it Roseanne?
It's Jared Leto.
No.
Yeah.
No. Stop giving that man work.
It's Jared Leto. And
that's profoundly disappointing.
Isn't it? Come on, man.
He's going to be fucking up my Neutron movie too.
Yeah, I know.
Why are they putting this guy in? Everyone hated him as the Joker. Why are they still doing this? Why are they still doing this?
I don't hate Morbius, but it's not a good movie. It is a bad movie. I don't hate it as much as everybody else did. I wouldn't go so far as to say I like it, But you look at Jared Leto, you see fucking Skeletor?
I look at Jared Leto and I see someone who I don't want to see.
Yeah, that's kind of it. It's kind of, like I said, I don't have a good answer for who I think should be Skeletor. Because I appreciate that they're trying. The Netflix He-Man cartoon was fucking awesome. Right? It was great. I loved it. I thought they did a really good job. They were respectful to the past while bringing it into the future. I thought that was outstanding. I do not think this works in live action. I don't think they should be doing a Masters of the Universe movie. I really honestly don't. I appreciate that they want to, but I don't think they should. And they definitely shouldn't fucking have Jared Leto as Skeletor. Like I said, I would rather it be John C. Riley. I think he'd do a better job.
No, I don't like this at all.
It's awful. It's awful. But Idris Elba as Man-at-Arms, all right, cool.
Yeah,
that sounds
good
cool.
in just about all other ways, but you got to get Skeletor right. And somebody somewhere really likes Jared Leto, and it's not me.
I don't know who it is. He was
this is
fine
really annoying
in Fight Club.
Yeah,
because he gets the shit beat out of him. That's why he's fine in Fight Club. I can't think of a Jared Leto movie that I've seen where I've been like, oh my god, did you see fucking Affleck is the bomb in Phantoms? I don't know what that role is. I've never seen it personally. I'd rather have fucking Tom Holland as Skeletor, and he's not right either. Give me a little twink, fucking British twink Skeletor. That's at least an interesting choice.
Yeah, I'd take it.
He-Man, Tom Holland trying to do that voice.
Screensaver turns
See you
on.
next time.
Every time my screensaver turns on, it now requires my password to sign back in. So, if I'm sitting here doing something and my screensaver goes on, I can't just jiggle the mouse and get back into my computer. I got to wait for it to either communicate with my watch and think about opening, or me enter my password every time the screensaver shows up. So I'm trying to turn it off, and it says I found in the settings for lock screen, require password after screensaver begins or display is turned off. But the option to change it to anything is grayed out. It says password immediately required when iPhone mirroring is set to automatically authenticate. I don't know how to make it not do that. I'm trying to find where is iPhone mirroring set to automatically authenticate. Like, where is that? I don't know what that is.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't have the answers you seek.
Let's see. Turn off automatic authentication. Open the iPhone mirroring app on your Mac. Where the fuck is that? I have an iPhone mirroring app on my Mac? When did that happen?
Well, yeah,
look at that.
If you swipe down from the top right, you can hit the mirror, the screen mirroring.
Your iPhone on your Mac. Okay, so this is basically like it's an app that they installed in the latest update where I can just have my phone screen on my screen at all times.
Oh,
like just as a separate little floaty window. I have no need for that. So how do I make this go away? I think I found it. Go into settings, ask every time instead of automatically authenticate. Okay, let's do that. Let's do exactly that. Settings, ask every time. Boom. Okay, now that I've done that, let's go back to this one. And
that sounds like it would be worse.
Never. See,
okay, yeah.
There we go. Dunzo. See, like, if it wants, because if I want to send I wanted to ask me if I want to send that. Let's see, are you sure you want to turn off screen lock? Yes, I am sure I want to turn off screen lock. Do you want to turn off iCloud keychain and remove Safari passwords and credit cards saved on this Mac? No. This is not a public space. Nobody's allowed down here.
That's right.
All right, so now hopefully this situation has resolved itself. Anyways, Jesus Christ, what we're talking about?
Jared
Leto.
Leto.
A bunch of Skeletors. Jared Leto's an asshole, and now he's Skeletor, and everything is worse because of Jared Leto.
It's what I find, man, like what I find so frustrating about it is that this week, because I haven't been able to play a lot of things this week, like I played a bunch of Hades today because that's kind of easy, which seems weird, but like today, as I'm getting the infusion, like right when the steroids go in, I'm like, I can feel everything. Let's fucking play a video game that I can't play during the rest of the week. So I played a bunch of Hades today. It's so fucking good. So good. You should play Hades. That's what you should do.
Maybe I'll
it's
that, I'll
really
throw that
great.
in the mix. Let's see if that jumps out and grabs me. So my question to you is, what did you think of the Superman trailer?
Well, I'm getting there. That's where I'm going with this. So, since I haven't been able to play a bunch this week, Tiff and I started The Penguin because we didn't watch any episodes of it. I wanted to wait until it was done. You've seen The Penguin, right?
No, I have zero interest in watching it.
Are you serious?
I could.
It is fucking.
I know
incredible.
It's supposed to be fucking incredible. I didn't care about Colin Farrell in a fat suit in the Batman movie, which was fine. And so the TV show based in that universe does not excite me in the least. I'm sure it's fucking great. I just have no interest.
That makes me sad. It's fucking great. It is unbelievably good. It is not. They're making some interesting choices. They're doing things. It is just perfection, almost, right? Like what they're doing with the character and how it's so incredibly intelligently updated and how it's written and the things they're doing with Sophia Falcone and the Marone, like, oh, it's just brilliant. And then I see the Superman trailer yesterday. And a legit teared up when he started whistling.
Can I guess when?
Sorry, yes.
Because I can tell you when I started tearing up. I lost my shit when he saved the girl.
That too, yeah.
That hit me like a ton of fucking bricks. Because
that's Superman.
That's Superman. He wasn't beating up a bad guy. He wasn't fighting a villain. He was saving someone, and it was
saving
fucking perfect. It was a little girl, and he just whole body right in front of the blast to save a little girl.
I just got fucking chills. I just got douche chills as you're fucking talking about it.
It's so good. So good.
But then he whistled.
Crypto showed up. He's so cute.
And that broke me at that point, because I will forever think, probably, that Superman 78 is the best superhero movie that's ever been made. We talked about this a week ago, 2 weeks ago, when I watched the Super/Man documentary on Christopher Reeve. There's nothing better, in my opinion, because I saw that movie at just the right age. I was a little kid, obsessed with comic books and superheroes, and my dad, who I didn't see very much, was my fucking Superman. And, because he was a cop and he was a well-respected guy, it was just, my dad was my Superman, and I saw Superman on my grandfather's big screen projector with the big fucking speakers, and that John Williams soundtrack is just perfect, and there's leitmotifs of that within the fucking music in this trailer. And then Crypto showed up, and it was like, fuck, they're not afraid. They're not afraid for this to be a Superman movie, not whatever the fuck Zack Snyder did. And I don't hate Zack Snyder the way other people do. I saw the fucking discourse. I was trying to avoid it because everybody started talking about Zack Snyder in the trailer in the Discord, and I was like, fuck, I gotta watch this with Tiff tonight. I can't look at any of this because somebody's gonna say something. So, but like, I know people hate Zack Snyder, and he fucked up a lot of shit. I don't hate him as much as other people do. Whatever the fuck he did to Superman, that wasn't Superman. That wasn't. He is the big fucking blue Boy Scout. That's the point.
It wasn't Superman. It's Hope Man.
Like, the Metropolis meteors, when he's in the fucking stadium, Chris, I don't know if you caught this because I don't think you pay that much attention to team logos, but do you know what stadium he was in?
No, I don't.
He was in the fucking Cleveland Guardians Stadium. That font where you can kind of see it say meteors is the current Cleveland Guardians font, because where was Superman created? By two broke Jewish kids in fucking Cleveland.
That's great.
They get it. You know what I mean? Like that in particular. Take the rest of it out of it. The Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, like, take literally everything out of that trailer. The fact that they had the thought, whether it was James Gunn or somebody on the production team or who the fuck ever, the fact that they respect the material and the creation of it enough to put that fucking scene in the Cleveland Guardians Stadium tells me I don't need to worry about this movie.
I would be surprised if they didn't get this one right. It seems like, and when I say get this one right, I mean like make it right for by terms of Superman, not by terms of what the Snyder goons want, because
right,
it's similar to the Star Wars audience. There's a group of man children out there who want everything to be dark and serious and gritty. And, like, that's just not what Superman is.
No.
And, like,
that's
not the core of the character. That's what Batman is. That's why those two characters work so great together. They're opposite sides of the coin, Like,
exactly.
This what, like, made me so. I don't have the same connection to the original Superman movie that you do, but I love Superman. I love superheroes in general. I love the mythos around Superman. I am confused as to when this movie takes place, because it seems like it's supposed to be set in the modern day, but the Daily Planet is still a newspaper, so I'm very confused.
Nobody reads that shit.
Like, there is no such thing as a giant building dedicated to a newspaper with, like, actual journalists. That doesn't exist anymore. But I think the casting is all great. I think Guy Gardner and his stupid fucking haircut is hysterical.
Yep.
my concern with this movie is how many characters were in this trailer. That's my only concern. Like, there's a lot of characters going on, but maybe they're all cameos. Maybe because this is supposed to take place, if that's my understanding, this takes place in a universe where the superheroes are all already established. We're not going to get a whole bunch of origin stories, right?
Right.
So
they seem like the JSA, right? Like the Hawk Girl and Mr. Terrific and Guy Gardner. I think those were the three that were in there, right? Was there someone else? Metamorpho. They showed Metamorpho.
Yeah, the close-up of that wrinkly-looking dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, but they're certainly not shying away from being weird, which I think is great. I mean, I don't know how I think it's an interesting play, having it, not doing origin stuff. I think it's an interesting direction to take it.
Do I need to know the origin of Superman again? I really don't.
Well, that's just it. We don't, but there's always new generations. And how are they learning about the origin of Superman and multiple continuities and this, that, and the other thing? Like, maybe we don't need to know the origin of Superman, but having a universe where it's just like, there's the Green Lantern Corps is here. What's the Green Lantern Corps? Like, what?
Right.
It seems like there's going to be a lot of pre-established knowledge that you're going to need to even make sense of what's happening in the movie. But I don't know. I trust. I trust James Gunn. I liked the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I trust him.
I didn't like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 very much.
I'm with you on that one. I'm not going to say I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It didn't hit me nearly as much as the first two did. But I think kind the first of in the minority.
Two are almost perfect.
People fucking loved the third movie, and I wish I loved it as much as the other ones. It didn't do anything specifically wrong. It just didn't catch me the same way the first two did.
Yeah. I love the Christmas special. I thought that was outstanding.
Yeah, that was pretty good time. I liked that.
I thought that was great. I love the Peacemaker TV show.
Oh, Peacemaker was fucking great.
I don't love the Suicide Squad.
Good. It was fine.
I think it's okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was all right.
I had a really good time watching it, but I have no interest in really watching it again.
Yeah, but it says something about us as a society when we look at who our most popular fictional characters are, and for a long time, the unquestioned number one most popular character was Superman. And I'm not one of those, like, things were always better back in the past. But there's a difference when our most popular is Superman and our most popular is Batman. It says something about us. We should all, I'm talking about, progressives, the leftists, whatever, us coastal elites. As I sit here in my very small office, my big palatial Jose Canseco executive annex, we should all hate Batman. He's terrible. He's a fucking billionaire who doesn't actually do anything to help the city of Gotham. He gets dressed up in a fucking kink suit, goes out, beats the shit out of a bunch of legitimately crazy people, and then puts them in a place where he knows they are going to get treated like shit and made worse and escape so that he can beat them up again. As opposed to just ending homelessness in Gotham, which he could do with the amount of money he has. We should hate that character. But a new Batman comes out, we're like, oh, it's fucking cool. Like, God damn it.
It really depends on the continuity of Batman you're looking at, When you look at something like Batman... When has he ever done
anything good?
Well, Batman the Animated Series... Well, all right, so if you're looking at, Batman... Adam West Batman, that's just absurd to begin with. So, you don't really need to look into the social commentary of that. That's just,
sure.
I have a lot of money. I'm going to use it to stop crime. Then you look at something like Batman the Animated Series, and over the course of the show, they kind of wrestle with stuff like that. Like, he tries to be a philanthropist, but he also has this need to fight crime, but he also won't kill anybody, and he has that line, and it's interesting. It's the fact of the matter is that he is indeed a flawed character, and ending homelessness with his money, I don't know, could he actually do that? I don't know. I know that he wants to do this. I don't know how to properly argue the Batman as a whole. The more realistic you make the character, the more those cracks start to show.
100%. He has to be Bat-God fighting Darkseid, or else it becomes Elon
Or it has
Musk.
to be absurd, or it has to be a cartoon like the animated series where you're wrestling with, just the basic psychology of it instead of going deeper to like, now wait a minute, let me connect all these dots. Once you start once you get to the Dark Knight series, like no, Batman Begins, and that's as close to the line as you can get, right? Like I think once you go past that line, the cracks are just so obvious. And that one, it walks right up next to it, but it's still just enough of a comic book thing to focus on what they want you to focus on instead of focusing on all the details of the world around it. It's like Star Wars. If you try to look at Star Wars and try to make sense of everything that you're seeing on the screen, once you over-scrutinize it, you've lost the fucking plot. Because that's not the point. The point is the adventure. The point is, this is the story that I want to tell. This is this is the basics of the character. Don't think about every single ramification and every single detail of everything they do, because that's not fun. But, of course, the internet decides that, well, if I can find fault in something, there is nothing more fun than being right, especially when I don't have to put any fucking work into it. That's where all this shit comes from. It just comes from this obsession with being right instead of just being entertained. Anyways.
And I'm very entertained by the Penguin.
That's also part.
If I were telling a Batman story, this is where I would go with it. If I were telling the Batman story, this would be my big bombshell twist. And the last issue that I would write, and I would do, like a whole arc fighting all of his greatest villains and kind of stealing from the, you read the Bane stuff, right?
Oh yeah, a long time ago.
Bane broke out all of Batman's villains, and the whole story was Batman having to go through the gauntlet of getting Mad Hatter and getting, the lower tier Batman villains, working his way up to getting the Joker and putting him back in Arkham. And then eventually he's so tired that Bane can come in and beat the shit out of him, break his back, whatever. So I would write something similar where, all the villains have been broken out of Arkham. Batman is going through the gauntlet, all of the shit. And in the very last issue, it's revealed that Bruce Wayne does not have one secret identity. He has two, and he is also Jeremiah Arkham. And then just leave that for somebody to fucking play with. Because that is now fucking super interesting to me. Why would this guy put them all in here? Because he has to feed this other... He's clearly fucking psychotic as a character. Like, yes, father, I will be a bat. It's a fucking psychotic thing to say. So, go with it.
Yeah, he's nuts. All right, we've really got to shuffle this along. It's 8:30 and we've gone absolutely nowhere.
We have gone so many interesting places, Chris. I think this has been a wonderful first segment. I've played nothing of interest except for Hades, and I am now struggling very much with the Steam Winter Sale. There is a lot of stuff on sale, and I don't know what I want to spend my money on, but it's Christmas. So I'm going to buy shit. Probably. So anyway, I'm sorry, what have you played this week? I will shut the fuck up and drink water.
I'm with you. I also played almost nothing. I played Vampire Survivors, some more Mario Party, little Donkey Kong Land. I have two things that I needed to bring up. Thing number one is that my local shop, Level Up, is shutting down in January.
That fucking sucks, and I am surprised they made it this long.
They've been in business for 18 years. It wasn't a. I think it comes from a lack of interest in running the business anymore than it not being a viable business. Like they seem to be doing fine. The mall that they're in is not doing fine. The Hamilton Mall is just fucking crumbling around them. What's that?
Is any mall doing fine?
There are a handful of malls across the country that are doing quite well, but it's just a matter of where they are and mall management. It's not as easy as it used to be to just be like, here's a bunch of stores in a mall and it kind of takes care of itself as long as we maintain the property. Now you've got to put a lot more into a mall now, and it has to be in a rich enough area to support something like that. But yes, the Hamilton Mall is kind of shit, and I assume that relocating would be a massive undertaking. They've already kind of did that a few years ago when they opened up a second location.
Right.
And then that second location didn't really pan out because of the real estate stuff. And then they went back down to the one, and then the mall started tanking. So I think the ownership just decided, we've been doing this for 18 years. Both of the owners don't even work in the store anymore. So I think they were just like, it's time to pack it in.
That's a bummer.
That it's a huge bummer. It makes me sad. Makes me want to open up a video game store, but
yeah.
Anyways, earlier today, no, it was Thursday. Yes, it was yesterday. I do these Thursday throwdown things on our social media where I pick two similar games and ask the social media people, like, hey, which one's better? So I went with, because I had a specific memory of this game, Santa Claus Saves the Earth for Game Boy Advance versus the Santa Claus 3 for Game Boy Advance, and asked which one of these was better. And one of our readers on Twitter said, well, since Santa Claus Saves the Earth was never released in North America, I'm going to go with the Santa Claus 3. And I'm like, wait, what? I only know this game exists because when I worked at Toys R Us in Queens, we had like 6 copies of it in the store. And I remember looking at it and being like, what the hell is this?
Right.
So I've held this game in my hand. I'm sure of it. So I go looking online, and everything that I can find about this game says that the North American version was canceled and never released. It was released in Europe, but it was never released. Like, it got ESRB rated, but it never actually released in North America on Game Boy Advance and PlayStation. So I'm trying to find, okay, well, where did that information come from? What is the source of the claim that this game never came out in North America? But I can't find the source of that claim. I can't find any official information. It's just, this is information that's on the internet that this was canceled. Who knows where that information came from?
Okay.
So I go on eBay. All right, somebody somewhere needs to have an ESRB copy of this game. Nothing. I cannot find a single North American ESRB copy of this game on eBay.
Okay.
So it seems that one of two things happened. Either one, I'm completely imagining this shit, and I have no idea how I came across Santa Claus Saves the Earth in the first place.
I think we talked about it like 8 years ago, something like that. Looking for Christmas games?
Maybe? Because I remember this cover. I remember seeing this game. It's possible that through some weird coincidence, my Toys R Us got a handful of European copies of this game? Like, maybe Toys R Us bought European copies of this to sell in their stores? Like PAL copies?
It's that possible, seems weird.
It's possible that there is an extremely limited North American run that was only available at Toys R Us. Because it's kind
possible you're wrong.
That kind
as well.
It's possible I imagined it, right? It's possible that my memory just is wrong. I remember this. I distinctly remember it, but it's possible it's just completely wrong. So now I'm trying to figure out what the deal is, right? What happened with this game in my memory? What is going on? Because that's fucking weird.
Yeah. That's really weird. I'm looking at, I just Googled it, which I know you said you did. And one of the first images that pops up is from Crumb Games Wiki, .fandom.com. And it has an ESRB logo on the box.
Yes, the game got ESRB rated, but then was canceled at the last minute and never actually released, which is what makes me lean towards...
But why show that? If it was never really like that. Because they show later on in the article, they show the European one with the not ESRB, the PEGI or whatever the fuck that is. I don't even know if that's what it was back then, but that's super weird, man.
I really do wonder if Toys R Us bought like a small exclusive batch of this game, because that company did that kind of shit. Like, that company had an exclusive Xbox game. Like, you could only
there are reasons Toys R Us went out of business. Yes.
There are reasons. It seems like the kind of like goofy ass shit that some buyer or somebody went to Toys R Us and said, we have this Santa Claus game. You're pretty much the only store in the world that would sell any copies of this. Do you want it for some dirt cheap price? Or again, maybe I'm just imagining things, but I'm going to be keeping my eye. Like, I wish I would have bought one. And this is the same fucking Toys R Us where they had all those copies of Shantae. So
right.
I really wish I had bought one.
The Toys R Us in Queens was just an interesting place.
It really was.
Queens is just an interesting place. If anybody's looking for a weird place to walk around, Queens is pretty cool. You know, just head on a swivel. Look like you belong. You'll be fine.
Well, that's going to wrap up our first segment. We're going to take ourselves a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what's going on in the world in week-old news. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around. And now here's a quick look at what's new from us and our partners at Geekade.com.
First up, on this month's episode of this week's episode, Angie made everyone watch Arcane, a show based on League of Legends. As an enormous League of Legends fan, I know I'm excited to hear what everyone has to say about the show, because I'll listen to people talk about League of Legends all day, all night, all afternoon, all morning. Honestly, there's no bad time to talk about League of Legends. Biggest League of Legends guy in the podcast game. Everybody knows that. So, should you watch Arcane?
League of Legends Ryan.
That's what literally everyone calls me. It's on my nameplate at work. Should you watch Arcane? Well, do you like gorgeous animation, somewhat vague storylines, and people with impossibly cool hair? I know I do. Hear all about it in this week's episode 283. New big white guy just dropped.
Next, this time in a theater near you, Paul, Sean, and I watched an incredibly bizarre movie called Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls. It tells the story of a rather odd young man who joins a cult and somehow saves the world from some sort of demonic invasion. Honestly, it was super weird, but it was also kind of great. It's truly a movie that defies description, but you can listen to me and my friends try anyway in a theater near you, episode 47, Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls.
Finally, Chris, there's an issue that we have to address here in our great nation. The proliferation of pickleball is communist. It's disgusting. You know what isn't, though? Volleyball.
A cucumber ball?
Yes, that too. Volleyball, Chris. Volleyball. Nothing. No thing says the holiday season quite like volleyball. The short shorts, sand beneath your toes, the eggnog over on the sideline when you have to switch sides, you take a big glug. It's truly the sport of kings. But did you know, Chris, were you aware that there are video games about volleyball? Like, that's crazy, right?
Absolutely crazy.
It's just banana sandwich. It turns out there's at least one on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and it's apparently all about digging and spiking, which are volleyball terms. Also, we all know how much fun it is to spike the eggnog, right? That's great. Find out what Joe... And then the kids drink it, and they're all fucked up. It's awesome. Sorry, Ryan. Find out what Joe and Greg. Find out what Joe and Greg think of this adaptation of one of truly the finest sports ever played on horseback in the SNES podcast, episode 248, Dig and Spike Volleyball.
One of the dumbest commercials I've ever written. This and more from us and our partners. Be sure to keep your eyes on geekade.com. All right.
Anyway.
Hey, everybody, guess what? We're back. We're gonna blow through this because the news is just news and we really want to get to the mailbag. So check this out. What's new at Stone Age Gamer? I don't fucking know. I'm on vacation. What's new at Stone Age Gamer? I'm not paying attention.
Do your own work.
I am hoping, my hope against hope is that MemCard 2 Pros have finally arrived. Those have been, we've been expecting them for several weeks now, and the goalposts keep moving, and this is, well, allow me to tangent just an ever so small bit. I don't like pre-orders on things that already exist. I am not a fan of taking pre-orders on our next shipment of X, Y, and Z. When you've got a new game coming out or something, like we're taking the pre-orders on Vengeance Hunters, the physical Neo Geo game, sure. I get that. That's a collector's item-y kind of thing. I get that.
Niche.
That's niche. Let's take pre-orders now because there are people who are going to want that. They don't want to miss out on they don't want to miss out where like thing drops and then, whatever. But
yeah,
if we take pre-order on, like, let's say the MemCard Pro 2, right? We took pre-orders on the new shipment of MemCard Pro 2s, and they were expected end of November. Here we are coming up on the end of December, and I've got customers emailing constantly, day in and day out, because we took a whole ton of orders on these things. Where's the MemCard Pro 2? I don't know. We're not making them. We don't make them, but we now have your money and no way of telling you when a product is going to show up.
That's not a great business model.
If there's something coming out with a release date, then sure, that's a thing. That's a release date. We're going to release it on the X day and go for it. But if it's something that's like in production where things can go wrong, I'm just not a fan of that because it always seems to come back on, one, it comes back on us, and two, I'm just not comfortable with that entire relationship. And when it's a really expensive item, like let's say a $300, $400 item that we took a whole ton of pre-orders on, and then 20% of those pre-orders get tired of waiting and delays and not getting answers, and they cancel their orders. Like,
and now I got to come up with 20% of that money to fucking refund?
Well, that's the thing. I'm pretty sure that we don't spend any of that money until the product leaves. I'm pretty sure that's the way this works.
That's not how most businesses do it.
That's not how most businesses do it.
Mr. Tallarico.
Oh, good old Tommy. Oh, man, Thomas the Tallarico engine. That reminded me. There isn't a little piece of news that I probably could have brought up here. No. Anyway, I don't like pre-orders, and if you are one of our customers who pre-ordered the MemCard Pro 2 and still don't have it, I'm sorry. There's literally nothing we can do. We are completely at the mercy of the distributors. So,
yeah,
rant over. That means it's time for my favorite segment. Your favorite segment.
Hold on. Every time somebody asks you that question, you should respond to them with the Ren and Stimpy gif from Space Madness. That's just it, Stimpy. We don't know. And then just leave it there.
Strap yourselves in for Week Old News. I forgot where I was mid-sentence. Hi, welcome to Week Old News, where we talk about all the news that was new a week ago. I don't have an actual story for this because it seems that none of the news outlets that I follow even bothered to fucking report on it. But there was an end-of-year update for the Amico.
Yeah.
Mr. Amico himself, Phil Adam, I think. Let's see, where did that email go from me? Because I did get the email, but it went straight into my junk folder. Here we go. That's
which is awesome.
Winter Update 2024 on 12/17. We've got the Amico Home is coming out on iOS finally. Way to go! I think they've sold maybe 15 or 16 games total on the Google Play Store, the Android whatever, and now it's gonna take off on iOS. This is where it's gonna work. The Amico controller app. Rigid Force Redux Enhanced is apparently coming. They're breaking that one out for they're still trying to push the physical games. For reasons unknown, you're never going to release the system. We'll go to the physical games. But they're going to break out this other one to sell on its own. Because remember, you could only buy them in bundles before.
That's right.
There's this still Finnegan Fox is listed as coming soon. It's coming soon to Amico Home. Evil Knievel.
I mean, so am I, theoretically.
And the Amico hardware controller is still a thing they're working on. They're going to make that controller show up in our hands. I can't believe this is still happening. I cannot believe that this has not folded yet. Party City has gone under, and Amico is still here. And they're
Party City shut down immediately.
Amico is still trying to make this shit happen. This is when I saw this. I originally saw this because I'm largely off of social media, but I opened up Facebook to look at stupid videos when I'm putting Ellie to bed, and I opened it up and I scroll past the Intellivision channel because they're still calling it Intellivision. Like their Facebook page is still called Intellivision Entertainment. That's not them. Atari bought that from them. Why isn't Atari?
Publicly,
I mean, I understand Atari's probably not even bothering. It's like, what's the point? But like, really, if you're going to try to resuscitate the Intellivision brand, get it as far away from these criminals as possible.
Yeah.
I'm whatever. All right. Nintendo Life reports Lemmings-like space adventure Moons of Darsalon leaps onto Switch in February 2025. This was interesting to me until I got to the AI art part.
Oh, boo.
So, there was an update. Let's see here. The game has come under fire for its use of AI-generated imagery. Developer Dr. Kucho swapped out the original art, presumed to be created by a human, for an AI counterpart in the months following the game's release, and, while he clarified that the new art in loading screens is entirely selectable, that hasn't stopped many from being rightfully concerned with the substitution. And this was the real killer for me. The Moons of Darsalon Dr. Kucho Games responded. Somebody wrote on Twitter, maybe cancel this update. Looks like it's not being well received. Don't use AI art for your loading screens. To which they replied, the new art is selectable. You can choose the original or the new one. No reason to remove anything. Don't worry for the game. These hate guys would not buy the game anyway. Twitter needs to hate it. It's how it is. I appreciate your concerns. No, sir.
Accurate most of the time. Not in this case.
Yeah, yes, Twitter needs to hate lots of things, but hating AI art isn't just hate for hate's sake. It's not art, it's fucking theft. It's high-speed plagiarism, and this game that I was vaguely interested in when I first looked at it, I am now completely disinterested in and will never buy. And I recommend that anybody else listening to this podcast not buy it either. Do not support anyone or anything removing actual artists' pitiful level of work. Like, just it's impossible to be an artist. Anyone who is just pushing that aside in order to push fucking AI. I hate AI. I mean, I don't hate artificial intelligence, the concept of art, because that's not what this is. Everyone calling AI generated art, it's not AI generated art. It's high-speed plagiarism. It's just an amalgamation of shit that other people have already done. There's no actual intelligence happening there. It's just mushing together existing information. It's fucking garbage.
Marvel Snap has done a lot of really stupid things to hurt their brand, to hurt their game. People are very upset with Marvel Snap currently. The one thing they did, and they take forever to respond, too. It's like, hey guys, this thing's all super fucked up, and they're like, yeah, we're listening, we hear you, we're working on it. A couple months ago, there were variants that were released, or that were data mined that were going to be released, right? So they weren't even in the game yet. And a bunch of people were like, hey fuckers, this studio that is making these variants of these cards for your game, they're an AI studio. They use AI artwork. We don't fucking do that. And Marvel Snap, like a day or two later, came on social media and was like, we have canceled our contract with that company. Those variants will be removed. They will never be released. We will not have AI-generated art in this game ever. And it was
Good.
like, holy
now redo
shit.
the opening
Good.
credit sequence to Secret Invasion.
Right? Please. And also make it easier for people to get fucking cards, you prick. Anyway, move on. Sorry.
Polygon reports, Live and Learn musicians suing Sega over ownership of iconic Sonic the Hedgehog song. What the hell? So, the writer and singer Johnny Gioili, I apologize, was reportedly unaware of its widespread use. So, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure Sega thinks they just own this song. And the guy who wrote the song is like, no, you don't.
We're going to find out.
Yeah, this song's been used in everything from the Smash Brothers and Sonic Shadow Generations. I think it's in the new movie, right? This song is like inextricably linked to Sonic the Hedgehog. I thought it was written for the Sonic game. I thought that was its entire purpose, which would mean that Sega owns it, I think, but...
What a sad
Gilly
life.
is asking the court to determine who the owner of the master is, and then to compensate him for the lost fees he would have gotten for licensing the songs out to Sega. Gilly's lawyer says that a Sega lawyer told him it doesn't have rights to the song during correspondence regarding a Sega Symphony series. In 2024, a different lawyer allegedly told Gilly that it's a joint work, and that Gilly is entitled to 50% of Sega's profits from the joint work, but has refused to account that Gilly is the owner, or a joint owner, of the copyrights regarding the master recording and composition.
That sucks. What a sad life that this guy has no friends that were like, dude, your song, it's everywhere. Did you see how it was in the new Smash Brothers trailer? Did you hear it? Like, how does he not know?
That's a good point. That song's been everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. So, I don't know. This is a weird story. Like,
it is.
Get your shit together, Sega. Know what you own. It seems like baseline stuff here. Know
don't
whether or
just
not you
pay
own
people
something.
off. It's fine too.
Either way, buy the song. Like, you're Sega. When they made the song for the Sonic game, did you not own the song? Like, it's very strange. It's a whole very strange thing. Anyway, IGN reports November 2024 sales charts. Nintendo Switch passes PS2 to become the second best-selling gaming hardware in U.S. history.
Not for long. We're putting that shit back on sale in Brazil, fuckers. New FIFA for everybody.
It hasn't beat PS2 worldwide, just in North America. So putting it back on sale in Brazil isn't going to do anything.
No, that's fair. Put it back. Brazil's part of America.
Not part of North America.
Oh, how dare you, America! Making it great, Kris.
So,
sorry.
The Switch currently trails the Nintendo DS by over 7 million units in the U.S. So,
wow.
It's got a little ways to go before it catches the DS. I didn't realize the DS was the best-selling system in the U.S. of all time. That's kind of neat.
That is neat. I mean, they were everywhere, though. Like,
yeah,
that's one of the few things. They were like, it felt like fucking iPhones. Like, everywhere you look, people are just fucking DSing all over the place.
Yeah, with Brain Age and stuff. Yeah, DS is a big deal. Good for the Switch.
My fucking mother-in-law had a fucking DS. What the fuck is Connie doing with one?
Next up, IGN also reports that Sony becomes largest shareholder in From Software parent Kadokawa. No full takeover for now. I hate almost everything about this, but...
Yeah.
Nah.
I don't care. It's fine. It's whatever. I think, honestly, from what I saw about it, they're more interested in the anime stuff that Kadokawa has, not necessarily From Software. I think that was more of the impetus for the interest in the purchase. I could be wrong. Anyway. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not great.
A friend of mine's just letting me know that the Snyder cult has gone after the Suicide Squad director for being excited for Gunn's Superman.
Oh, good. They eat their own. Surely the wolves will not eat my face, says member of Wolves Eating Faces Party.
All right, let's see. Yep. Let's keep this going. We got a lot to do. Push Square. Oh, this is so weird. I hate this story. Push Square reports Peggy won't budge on Balatro's ridiculously bloated European age rating. So, according to
9 months ago, they rated it as like teen or some shit.
So Local Thunk talked with Peggy, and they do not see anything wrong with Balatro being rated 18 plus, nor with EA Sports FC and similar games having a 3+ rating. The trouble here is that they're rating Balatro because it's similar to poker. So it was shortly after its release, European Ratings Board PEGI suddenly changed it to an 18, and they're ridiculous because it's the Local Thunk recently called out the ridiculous rating, which over-eggs the point that it has poker themes, pointing out that games which do feature and encourage actual literal gambling, such as EA Sports FC 25, are rated a 3. So, like, this has visual similarities to poker, but is not like, as far as I know, you aren't actually betting real-life money on Balatro, right? It's just a video game.
No. Yeah, I mean, there is money involved, but that's not the point of it's a fucking roguelike deck builder.
Like, you aren't saying, like, I'm going to go online with Balatro and I'm going to pay 15 real US dollars to play and to bet on this game, and if I win, then I win 30 real US dollars, right? It's not actual game.
No.
It's all in-game,
yes,
fake currency, etc., etc.
There's fake currency to buy cards to build your deck with.
Yes. FIFA and EA Sports games have real gambling in them.
I don't know that that's true. I'm not saying it's not true. I find that hard to believe that is not a much bigger story. That seems like an unreliable narrator making a point or trying to make a point. There's no way you buy the new copy of FIFA and you log into DraftKings through FIFA. Like, that, surely that can't be happening.
Let's see.
Balatro is rated 12 plus on the iOS store. I just looked it up to see. And that seems fair. There's nothing in Balatro for a 3-year-old.
So,
really not.
The whole EA Sports gambling stuff it presses directly up against the legal distinction of what is gambling and what is gaming.
Okay.
From all psychological meanings, it is gambling. It encourages you to pay real-life money at a chance to get something. Right? You're not...
Oh, so we're fighting against the gotcha mentality of it.
Loot boxes, in-game transactions, and reward uncertainty.
Okay.
It is... Yeah, it is gambling. That is a gamble. That is gambling.
100%.
Whereas
but
Balatro
that is,
does not have that.
I don't find that to be a fair comparison. I don't think that makes the point Local Thunk thinks it makes. Because that sounds so much more sensational than it is. Because technically buying a pack of baseball cards is gambling. Like, yes.
Technically.
It is. When your game is poker,
it is a gamble to an extent where you are spending money on getting physical goods. But there are no physical goods involved here.
Right, and believe me, I'm not saying that I agree with the rating on it at all. I just think, and I don't know what it is because I'm fucking loopy as shit right now, I don't think that's the best argument to make when your game on its surface, if you showed it to two people, right? If you showed two people, just random strangers off the street, look at Balatro and look at FIFA, which one do you think is gambling? They're going to pick Balatro every time. Obviously, it looks like poker.
It doesn't matter
there's just a
what
better
their
argument,
perception is. That's not, but that shouldn't have anything to do with the age rating on the game.
Well, sure, but
like that's just okay. Dumb fuck off the street doesn't know what this is, but that's like saying Vegas Stakes for Super Nintendo is fucking should be 18 plus because it represents gambling. It's card games, and if there's no actual trading of money involved, there's no chance of you blowing, let's say, thousands of dollars on an unsupervised account through in-game gambling mechanics, then...
Yeah, Fortnite and Call of Duty and all of that shit has it.
Or the actual stories of players in EA's FIFA games for years now of kids who have spent thousands of their parents' dollars because this game is rated E for everyone, but can very easily take your money if you don't have all your proper parental controls set up.
Right, chasing the new fucking Ronaldo card that dropped, or Messi, or what the fuck ever, for your My Team shit. Yeah, the show has that kind of stuff. You know? I don't know, I just think there's a better argument to be made. I don't know what it is, but it does suck. There's no way Balatro should be rated.
Yeah, it's ridiculous to claim that Balatro is an adult-only game just because it looks like something else that is. It's a fucking card game. Solitaire is not an adult-only game. That's insane.
I don't know. The one that I play is. Oh, I got those nudie cards, right? No, just...
Speaking of terrible shit, Polygon reports Ubisoft just released a new game, and it has Rayman and NFTs. So remember when NFTs were like the big craze? I don't know, maybe they had this game in the works for a good long while, but they just silently, absolutely zero fanfare, dropped this game. It's called Captain Laserhawk the Game. It's a top-down multiplayer shooter for PCs, and it's a spin-off of a spin-off of a spin-off of Far Cry 3. And it guest stars Ubisoft mascot Rayman. It's Web3 NFT nonsense.
Wow. Is it live service too?
Who the hell knows?
With loot boxes?
I can't fucking believe
all the terrible shit.
I mean, of course I can believe because Ubisoft is terrible, but like, what the hell, man? Let's see.
Yeah, just don't.
The article says the allure of this, as best as I can tell, is that playing the fairly simple game and excelling will result in a rarer Niji Warrior NFT, which other people might want to buy because I'm not sure why, honestly. I'm glad NFTs are largely behind us. That was, it was an obvious scam from the get-go.
Right.
And it seems like it really didn't go anywhere.
I mean,
speaking of
went
not
somewhere
going places,
for some people.
It did indeed. Speaking of not going anywhere, Time Extension reports this U.S. bakery still uses a Commodore 64 for sales in 2024.
That's great.
Let's see. A donut shop in the U.S. is still using a Commodore 64 for business. So what's the store? Tom's Hardware and further social media posts from those who live nearby have confirmed that the company is still using them in 2024 and hasn't yet replaced the systems with a newfangled alternative.
It's the way America does it. It's the way Dad did it. It's worked out pretty well so far.
And this one I'm just reporting because it's of slight embarrassment to me. Only because of timing. Go Nintendo reports Tetris Forever adds Weltris plus more new features.
Oops.
I submitted my review last week, specifically mentioning how weird it is that Weltris was not playable in Tetris Forever.
And now, because it's a print magazine...
As the magazine has gone to print and it is too late to do jack shit about it, they have now added Weltris to the game. A couple other improvements to Tetris Time Warp, And apparently, according to Go Nintendo, it is Digital Eclipse's goal to continue to improve and expand on Tetris Forever with more games and features. The teams at Tetris and Digital Eclipse continue to explore adding new games to the collection, as well as addressing further feature requests and reported issues. So, yeah, they're never going to get the big ones, right? You're never going to get NES Tetris and Game Boy Tetris on this collection because Nintendo's
now
just
that
not
they're on
gonna do
NSO, absolutely not.
But maybe we will get some other things to kind of fill in the gaps in this collection.
This is why print is dead. You know.
Don't tell Superman.
No, I won't.
Apparently, Daily Planet's doing just fine. Daily Planet's doing fucking great. They got the big old globe on the top there. The building looks awesome.
Lois Lane's a really good reporter, Chris.
She's really, really good.
I'm sorry. I do
way
have
better
one
than
more.
Carrie Bradshaw.
Tiff is doing a rewatch of Sex and the Shitty. Shitty. Yeah, I said it. That show is problematic as hell. Fuck, that did not age well at all.
I can only imagine because I remember enjoying it when Karen and I watched it together. Karen wanted me to watch it with her a long, long time ago when we were first getting together, and I did, and I enjoyed it. I love me some Chris Noth because I love Law and Order. But yeah, I have a feeling going back to that show
didn't age well.
Not a good idea.
It's really interesting to hearing Tiff talk about how much she hates Carrie Bradshaw now, and she's like, "What a fucking monster!" It's like
I hated her when I watched the show too. I never liked that character at all.
It's terrible. Quick question. Sorry, because I just have to know, and I have to put this out there for our listeners because I just remembered something that Tiff said, and it occurred to me other people might not have ever thought about this. When Superman goes to his Fortress of Solitude, right? Did you realize, did it ever cross your mind, the thought that one of the reasons he's there is because it's the one place on the planet where he can't hear everybody?
Yeah? Didn't he?
Okay.
I feel like he said that at some point.
I don't know if he did, but Tiff was like, huh, I never considered that. And I was like, okay, that means other people haven't either. So I should probably bring it up.
No, that makes sense to me.
Okay, all right.
I mean, it makes sense to me to an extent because, again, depends on what we're looking at here. Because, there's, what was it, in Superman Returns? He's flying, above the planet and listening to everybody. So, if you can hear everybody in space, I'm pretty sure you can hear everybody at the Fortress of Solitude.
Well, no, because Kryptonian technology blocks all the sound. That's an easy enough way to explain that away. But he goes there so he can actually be alone for a fucking minute.
Yeah. Fortress of Solitude.
Oh, solitude. Not just to, have a think, but, to hink.
All right, with that wraps up week-old news. We're going to take ourselves another break, and when we get back...
Nope. Yes, add H's to things.
Damn right.
Add H's.
I'm putting H's in everything. We're gonna do the SAG Mailbag. We're gonna answer as many of your questions as we can, which is not going to be even a fraction of them because at least one of our listeners sent us approximately 2.6 thousand questions. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around. Do you enjoy the Stone Age Gamer podcast and other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network? Do you wish you could listen to them sooner than the regular unwashed masses? Do you wish you could contribute in some way? Well, then you should check out the Geekade Patreon. Yes, the Geekade Patreon is a wonderful and very much appreciated way for you to help us pay the bills and keep our shows running week after week. As a Geekade patron, you'll get a monthly podcast topic schedule and early access to nearly every show on the Geekade Podcast Network, as well as access to a patron-exclusive monthly show called DC's Amazing Movie Time from the creators of the Weekend Rental podcast. So head on over to patreon.com/Geekade and become a loved and appreciated member of the Geekade Patreon team and get early access to shows like the Stone Age Gamer podcast, this week's episode, Turning Tracks, and a whole lot more. See you there.
When you hear the words cross-stitch, you probably think of a grandma lovingly making a Christmas stocking, a picture of a lighthouse, or maybe a Bible verse with flowers. But that's not what we do at Shoot the Moon Stitches. We take the old-fashioned art of cross-stitch and pair it with contemporary themes and imagery to create striking works of art that make the perfect gift for anyone who grew up with the internet and has a wicked sense of humor and an appreciation for pop culture. From cult favorite TV shows and movies, to retro video games, to TikTok trends. If it's made you smile, chances are we've stitched it. You can shop our selection of art and gifts by going to Etsy.com and searching Shoot the Moon Stitches. For all your fun, feminist, fandom fiber art needs, visit Shoot the Moon Stitches.
We are Safe at Home, the leading dog rescue in the heart of New Jersey. Are you searching for a loyal companion, a dog that will bring love and joy to your home? Look no further than Safe at Home. At Safe at Home, we believe in giving every dog a second chance. We rescue, rehabilitate, and find loving forever homes for dogs in need, right here in the Garden State. Our dogs are ready to make a lasting impact on your life. Each one has a unique story, a wagging tail, and an incredible capacity for love. When you adopt from Safe at Home, you're not just gaining a pet, you're becoming a part of our family. Our dedicated team ensures a seamless adoption process, providing ongoing support and guidance. With New Jersey's beautiful parks, beaches, and trails, you and your new furry friend will have endless opportunities for adventures and cherished memories. Safe at Home relies on the support of compassionate individuals like you. Your donations and volunteer work enable us to continue saving lives and finding forever homes for these amazing dogs. Join us in creating a safer, happier community for dogs in New Jersey. Together we can make a difference and give every dog the chance to feel safe at home. Visit our website or call us now to learn about how you can be a part of the Safe at Home mission. Safe at Home, because every dog deserves to be loved and protected. www.safeathomerescue.org.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Andy. Neither of us are David Crane, but we are the hosts of David Crane's Amazing Movie Time.
That's our monthly Geekade Patreon exclusive podcast that covers movies that are cult classics, weird, or just sometimes laughably bad.
We ourselves have at least two of those qualities, so I guess it makes sense to hear what we think of those movies in retrospect.
You can hear all that and more by becoming a Geekade Patreon supporter.
And, as always, be kind, rewind.
All right, everybody, we're back, and it's time for the SAG Mailbag. I am going to start this, I'm going to kick this off by actually going back in time a little bit to our friend Devin Cooley, who has been listening to the show from the beginning recently and kind of slowly making his way to catch up. He sent us an email. He sent us a couple of emails.
Daunting.
I remember.
Point.
I put in my notes at some point, Devin Cooley email. And I was going to talk about it for a couple of weeks, and then I put it off because we were going to do this mailbag. So now I'm trying to find what was the email that I was going to say something with. Let's see here. This was about Waveback. So let me go back a little bit more. Let's see. From on November 15th. I fear I may need to now add a certain Baker's podcast into my rotation as I've just acquired something. He bought a bunch of Atari games. So he's going to be listening to Ferg's podcast. I hope he started that.
Everyone should.
This is Waveback stuff. Where's his other question about... This is back in August. I feel like we must have talked about this one back in August. Like, that seems silly.
Oh, no.
Devin Cooley, I apologize. I can't find whatever email you had a question in that we should be talking about. I'm looking through my list of emails, and I have a handful of them. All right, here we go. 1027. Let's try this one again. Hello again, Kris, Dan, Matt, and whoever else Kris may or may not share this with. First off, it has just now hit me that I sent a couple of replies to a previous email that did not go to the proper email address. I mistakenly replied directly to Kris, which might have gotten eaten by filters or any number of things, who knows. Anyway, whoever I replied with aside, there are two things I wanted to say this time around. I can only recall one of them, so let's see if I remember any of the other by the time I finish the first. And remember, he sent this on October 27th, so we're a little behind here. So I previously mentioned that I'd gotten into collecting. I saw a copy of Blaster Master for NES in a local retro store. I assume it was complete in box because they were asking $90 for it. Oof. Now, first I want to start collecting NES, but I hadn't planned on it yet. I don't even have a console yet. Been hard to pick between the original and top loader. I had both as a kid. I did buy a Dogbone controller from a convention earlier. That was an ordeal. I tried the fancy retro bright thing to try and de-yellow it a bit, since the controller is small, so easy. Well, except every post for the screw splintered and shattered when I opened the thing. It was a process fixing it. Jesus. Anyway, I hit up eBay accidentally hunting for NES games CIB because I saw one and it was so pretty. I never had any CIB as a kid. Everything was secondhand for me back in my Atari and NES era. It didn't occur to me until I got a CIB Blaster Master from eBay in my hands that this is the first NES box I've ever owned, maybe even held. And of course, the first thing I do, the first thing anyone does when they get a new game, I read the manual. There are maps in there, what the heck? Dude, I had no idea how long I would have played before finding level 4 without that manual. I've played Blaster Master several times, generally up to and past the third boss. Before, back in the 90s, it was because I was a kid and was bad and I died. But recently, I was just playing around on it because I added it to my SNES Classic and I thought, I should stop. I really want to record myself playing through these games for the heck of it. A freaking map in the manual. I wonder how many other games were just that bit harder because I had never seen the manual before. That bit about the NES Dogbone controller was the second thing I wanted to mention. My journey of taking measurements, my brother modeling and 3D printing little pegs to replace the original posts, and then sanding them and shaping them to fit. Man, I don't even have an NES to test this stuff on, LOL. But hey, I'll have my very own CAB Dr. Mario soon, arrives on Halloween, to add to my slowly growing NES collection. Oh, and Dr. Mario 64 and Tetris are both officially on my list to add to my N64 collection, all thanks to Kris. You're welcome, those games are great. Oh, and a timeline update. I'm currently on episode 326 Veiled Volleyball references. Only 200 more episodes to go to catch up. And so I'm off to keep playing games. Devin P2 Cooley. P.S. I hope Dan is doing well. I hope that Steam Deck is serving him faithfully. P.S.S. Really Tunic. Is. Have you guys seen or played Tunic? That game was, while flawed, the camera and I weren't always friends, was amazing. One of those games I decided to 100%. Tunic's been on my list for a while, Devin. It's on my wish list. Maybe I'll get to it someday. Maybe I'll play that over my winter break. Or maybe I'll be so indecisive that I'll play absolutely nothing over my winter break and just be sad.
Much more likely.
I like Tunic.
Tunic's very good.
Devin. Yeah, I
played that last year when I got the Backbone controller.
Right.
And liked it quite a bit.
Cool. Well, there you go. Yeah. Thank you, Devin. He wrote something about the Waveback Spooky Special, too. Did you ever... Let's see. I may as well address it here, because I'm never going to remember to address it on Waveback. Let's see. I've got a bone to pick, and I'm curious as to if it's ever been corrected. I mean, I'm straight up mid-episode right now, and something happened that I simply had to comment on. You started playing the Edison Tentacle theme from Maniac Mansion. Now, this is a game that I played quite a bit. I've even beaten it a few times. That said, the thing I wanted to mention is the track you played. It's almost completely missing the lead track. You can hear it glitch for a fraction of a beat every measure or so. Did you ever learn of your mistake? Man, I haven't joined the Discord yet. I still got 4 years to catch up on, and I gotta avoid spoilers. Rest assured, though, I'll be there one day. Looking forward to the rest of the episode and the following 4 spooky specials and everything in between. Till next time. So he sent that on Halloween. He was on episode 115, Spooky Special 6. We just recorded our 10th one, I think. So... no, I had never heard about that mistake. I think I responded back to him, but I don't know if he actually got it. So there you go. A mistake I did not know about. And now I can cross that off of my to-do list and get to the mailbag in the Discord. So, bunch of folks in the Discord. Ferg was first, and he said, what bread is the best bread? Dan, what bread is the best bread?
I mean, we answered this last time, I think. I don't remember. I think I said French toast. Because... Again, fat kid.
I say Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits.
You're not fucking wrong there. God, right now, what bread is the best bread? I would probably say, man, just because I've had more of it recently, fresh baked naan is just the fucking world.
Okay. Solid. Also, what Judge Dredd is the best Judge Dredd?
The comic.
Presumably because it rhymes with bread.
Yes. The comic followed by, comic, Sylvester Stallone, and then the one I didn't watch. Because I didn't watch it.
I'm going to say Carl Urban because I like Carl Urban.
Oh, it is Carl Urban. Wasn't he RoboCop too? The fuck is wrong with this guy?
I don't think so.
He wasn't in the RoboCop reboot? I thought he was.
He might have been in it, but I don't think he was RoboCop.
I thought he was. Anyway.
Let's see. Chronodin says, pixelated retro-style beat-em-ups have been making a comeback lately with Shredder's Revenge, Power Rangers, Reader's Rewind, G.I. Joe coming up, etc. Two questions. What franchise would be perfect for a game in this style, and why is it Thundercats? Alternatively, Silverhawks, one of my personal favorites. And two, what is an IP that would make an awesome beat-em-up in this style, but would be completely unexpected? How awesome would a My Little Pony beat-em-up be? How badly would you love to see Kermit the Frog and Fozzie Bear in a Muppets beat-em-up?
Yes to all of that. Thundercats is the correct answer.
No, the correct answer is Masters of the Universe, Dan. I thought you would have known that.
Well, I did. Yeah. Hold on.
Thundercats is a close second.
Masters of the Universe is probably the best choice. There's just so many interesting characters. Although there's a lot of interesting in Thundercats as well.
Oh, Thundercats would make a phenomenal beat 'em up. I'm just saying, Masters of the Universe is my top pick.
It is definitely Masters of the Universe. What would make an interesting beat 'em up? Like an unexpected property. That's a good question. What do you got? I got to think for a minute, Chris.
Okay. Well, I actually wrote an article about this. More cartoon beat 'em ups, please. It was back in June of this year. I wrote an article about Toxic Crusaders, G.I. Joe, Rita's Rewind, and then I said Masters of the Universe, Thundercats, Voltron, yes, Gargoyles, and honestly Dragon Ball Z, but similar to the X-Men one where it's just no, we're just going to even power scale everybody. It doesn't matter who it is, they're all completely even. It's just a beat 'em up, and it's all your Tien, Yamcha, young Gohan, first 2 seasons of Dragon Ball Z. Maybe even throw Trunks in there just for fun, because it doesn't have to make sense. And just have a cool-ass beat-em-up based on Dragon Ball Z. Voltron
no one says, why is Dazzler holding her own?
Exactly. Oh, Voltron would be so good.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that make sense. As far as ones that don't make sense, that I would absolutely love to see, I would play the shit out of a Law & Order beat-em-up.
That's... Sure, I can see that.
I just want to be Jack McCoy beating up and it can't just be criminals off the street. It's got to be some sort of completely weird. It's a robot invasion, and you're Lenny Briscoe just
for
beating the fuck out of
reason.
robots for some reason. I want a completely insane Law and Order beat 'em up. That would be spectacular. Outside of that, I'm
thinking a solid presidential beat 'em up, like Lincoln and fucking Washington and Teddy. Now, I don't know who they're beating up, like Nazis or what the fuck ever. Feel like I'm into that idea. Oh God, this is such a good question. We may have to come back to this question throughout the rest of these questions, as other things will undoubtedly pop into our heads, right? A Transformers beat 'em up? I mean, they kind of did that with Devastation, but that was 3D.
Yeah. And again, that would just be a really cool one. When I think unexpected ones, I think The Simpsons, right? That game doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
Who
think.
looked at The Simpsons and thought, beat 'em up? Absolutely. Like, that's what we should do.
You know what I would love? And this would be like a game for me. I would love a Universal Monsters beat 'em up.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Like, I think there's
love,
a lot of really cool in that.
I would love a Ted Lasso beat 'em up.
That is so antithetical to the fucking point of Ted Lasso. It would be amazing. It's just Roy. You just Roy fucking headbutting the shit out of people.
Letterkenny or Shoresy, that would make for a hell of a beat 'em up. That would be a good time.
A Ghostbusters beat 'em up? Would that work?
Well, there's a lot of beating up of things in Ghostbusters.
No,
Maybe.
There's not a lot of beating up of things in The Simpsons either, but...
That's true. Anyway,
yeah.
moving right along.
I could do this for another hour.
Cereal mascots.
Yeah, yes, 100%. 100%.
There you go. Let's
Check
see.
out geekade.com for Kris and my article about cereal mascots.
Actually wrote
in the Wayback
that
Machine.
Too. I wrote something about it. It was more of a fighting game, like Marvel vs. Capcom style, of like the cartoon Tony the Tiger and stuff. Anyway, Ace of Discal asks, what are your feelings about titles being developed in this day and age for retro consoles? Specifically Mortal Kombat 2 for the 3DO, which was shockingly canceled back in the day. With true retro games now being labors of love as opposed to being rushed titles, will we see a more competent MK2 today than we could have in 1993? If you're specifically asking about the 3DO version of Mortal Kombat 2, I would say yes. The version that's going to be made today would probably be better than whatever was cranked out in 1993. However,
it would almost have to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's difficult to say because, like, Samurai Shodown was great on 3DO. Like, the 3DO was definitely could have handled an excellent arcade-style port of Mortal Kombat 2. But I do think the home console ports of Mortal Kombat 2 were outstanding, especially the Super Nintendo version. Like, considering the hardware limitations, Mortal Kombat 2 for Super Nintendo is astronomically well done. Like, it's not arcade perfect. It couldn't be. It was a Super Nintendo, but it's damn close considering the hardware. So that's not. If we're just talking MK2, I think it's kind of hard to say whether or not we would be for sure better now than we would have been back then. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, the current retro game that I just want to see new ideas. You know, like I don't necessarily want to see although I did just post about the Batman thing that's coming out, but I don't necessarily want just older games done newer, if that makes sense.
I mean, I don't just want that. I love homebrews, but I also love the notion of taking, making ports that we never got just to see what could have been. Similar to that Final Fight that's coming out on Sega Genesis. Like, yeah, of course Final Fight never came on Genesis, but it's pretty cool seeing what they could do with it now. Like, I think that's a really fun and neat exercise. It's just one you've got to be really careful with because the people who own those games will sometimes be like,
would like their money.
You know what? This is ours. You probably shouldn't do this. Anyways, moving right along. Thank you for your question. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. Just going to say that right up front. Unas11 asks, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
Man, I think it's got to be the horse-sized duck.
Yeah, same here. I feel like people typically underestimate how many 100 things are.
100 of something is a lot.
100 is, like, if it was 10, no question. Like, I'd take the 10 duck-sized horses. I can just kick the shit out of them. You can get swarmed by 100 of something. That's a lot of duck-sized horses.
You said earlier you were in Ellie's classroom, right? How many kids were in there?
It felt like 100, but it was 20-something.
Yeah, add 80 more fucking kids.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's
aggressive
too much.
Horses that are just mad and they've got Napoleon complexes because they're small. Like,
because they're ducks.
Yeah.
Sized anyway?
No.
Yeah. No.
I would take the horse-sized duck.
I don't think I'm winning either fight. if we're being honest. Like, I don't think I'm coming out on top. Certainly not intact.
But I think I have more of a chance in a one-on-one fight than a 1v100.
Like a horse-sized duck, I feel like... Yeah. But ducks have teeth. That's scary.
I'm just going in order here. Duroc Pig,
Okay.
you son of a bitch. Dan has established on the podcast that he loves anal, but Chris, what is it that you love? Dan.
Have I... Hence why I love anal. Because Chris loves me. Have I established that? I mean, I've
think
certainly
you have.
alluded.
You've done more than allude to it, sir.
I'll tell you, I know someone who doesn't love it.
And reinforced.
It's a treat.
I don't even know where to begin on that. I really don't. I am not a slut like Dan is.
Oh,
Generally
boy.
speaking,
No.
I have not been all that adventurous in my lifetime. So there you go.
You could have just said blowjobs. Everybody fucking loves blowjobs.
Okay.
All right.
I don't
There
know
you
that
go.
I love it the way that you love anal, so it wouldn't have been an honest answer.
That's fair. It's fair.
Scion Storm asks,
It's just
what's
so
one
rare. It's like a special thing.
What is
Anyway.
one major gaming event that you wish went differently? How would that have played out today? Examples: Sega continued to make consoles, Sony and Nintendo continued working together, etc.
A major gaming event that could have gone differently. So what? I suppose the question within the question then is, what do we consider an event? Because I think the biggest what if is what you just said. Sony and Nintendo not splitting. Like coming out with whatever that was going to be and seeing what that did. Oh, man.
I would like to, honestly, for me personally, what I would have liked to see, I mean, what I would like to see would be, like, one of my big ones would be Nintendo buys Rare instead of Microsoft buys Rare.
Yeah.
I just think everything would be better. Everything on Earth would be better. In all facets of life. That was just such a bad fit. Rare is such a terrible fit for Microsoft.
Yeah.
And I hate where just about all of their IP are these days, but, you know, whatever. No, actually, what I would like would be for Atari to have remained independent. I would have liked for to see what would have happened if Atari didn't get purchased by Warner way back in the day.
Yeah.
And had maintained quality control, like it instilled a degree of quality control and maintained their independence based on creativity. Where would that have brought the industry? Because there's so much cascading that could have come from that. Like,
Right.
you know, it's possible
Could there have been a serious contender for the NES?
Well,
dominance?
It's entirely possible Atari would have released the NES in America. Because, you know, they turned that down. But if they were running independently back then, like, who knows? Like, there's so many interesting things could have happened had they not gone the direction that they did. If they had figured out a way to maintain quality control so that we didn't wind up in the crash, which I think may have actually happened had the company remained the way it was before the Warner buyout. And like Jack Tramiel and all that stuff. Like, I mean, Nolan, who knows what Nolan Bushnell would have eventually done with the company? I think he always wanted to sell it, but
yeah,
I think it would have been really interesting had Atari never made the mistakes that they made that led to the crash in the first place,
right.
and continued to evolve either right alongside everyone else. You know, if the 7800 had come out when it was originally supposed to come out, it would have been a very enticing console at that time. But instead, you know, 7800 going up against NES, it was no contest. So
it's apples and wrenches at that point.
It's a very different, very, very different world. Anyway, I like that one.
Yeah.
What about you? You got anything besides the Nintendo Sony thing?
the Nintendo Sony thing, and I think there were rumors for a while, and I believe was right before he died, that Apple was considering a home console.
Pippin.
And like, I know they kind of have it, you know, with the Apple TV and shit, right? Like, that kind of counts, I guess.
Mm-hmm. They have a platform.
Play games on it. They have a platform, but that's not what the rumor was. The rumor was like, well, Microsoft did the Xbox. What are we going to do?
The Apple box.
The Apple crate, the barrel. I don't know. I just think that's a really interesting what could have been.
I mean, Apple did release the Pippin, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, you know, yeah. I'm talking about like a competitor to, at the time, like I think it was the 360 and maybe the PS3 when Jobs was around. Because there was some stuff in there's really great the biography that was written of Jobs just after he passed. It was Walter Isaacson, I think, wrote it. There's some really great stuff towards the end of that book of things that Steve Jobs was talking about. And like, one of the things that stuck out to me about that book was like, we're not going to do a TV thing until we've cracked it. And I think we've cracked it. I know we've cracked it. And that is not Apple TV. That is not what he was talking about. So there were things that Jobs was brewing that never came to fruition. And I just find that dude so endlessly fascinating, both from the creativity that he was able to pull out of people and the maniacal control that he exerted over his own products, that an Apple competitor in that big budget space is an interesting, because they got more money than they know what to do with, you know. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a big what if too.
Okay. All right. RC Metz asks, we know Kris is the Nintendo fan and Dan is the PlayStation fan. Neither is an Xbox fan, so question is, for Kris, an exclusive game or series on PlayStation that you would love to see on Switch. Dan, same question, but Nintendo game franchise you want on PlayStation. No Zelda or Mario, that's too obvious. And to both, an Xbox exclusive you want to see on your platform. Must be a currently running series, then a non-current one you'd like to see.
Okay. Gut reaction is Punch-Out. Just because I want more Punch-Out, but I need to think about that for a minute, because I don't think that's the right answer. A Nintendo exclusive series, not. Did we say not Mario or Zelda? Those were the two.
No Zelda or Mario. That's too obvious.
Oh, then it's Metroid.
No, there you go. That's easy.
Yeah, that without question. I think that's too easy as well. But since that was not the parameters of the question, the answer is Metroid. I think Metroid would do phenomenally well as a multi-platform release. I would venture to argue it might sell more on the PlayStation and the Xbox than it does on Nintendo.
We'll never know.
We will never know. I wish we could find out. But yeah, Metroid, for sure.
This is actually pretty hard in my direction. That's what she said. Codename Tenka. No.
I mean, I think that should also be included in the obvious.
That's too great. Obvious. It's a good point.
Yeah, that's way too obvious. Because like we already got some of the answers to that one. Because the answers like years ago were Spyro and Crash, but then Sony sold those off.
Part of me wants to say Astrobot, but you know that's so PlayStation.
So specific.
It's so PlayStation. It would be weird playing that on something other than a PlayStation.
Parappa?
Parappa
I feel like that would
cool.
kill on Nintendo.
I think Parappa would do really well. but it's less about what would do well and what would I want. What would I specifically want?
Right.
Because they technically own it, my gut is telling me Lemmings. Lemmings is, I love that franchise, and it is
That's
currently
owned by Sony?
Sony owns with the company that Psygnosis, I think, is who made Lemmings. Let's see.
Okay.
Lemmings, the game is DMA Design. Sony doesn't own that, but why do they own Lemmings? It was published by Psygnosis. It was the original. All right, it was originally developed by. The first game was developed by DMA Design. I think Sony owns the rights to Lemmings now, which is why Lemmings hasn't been on any platforms outside of PlayStation for a long time. I can't remember why that is, but I remember looking. I remember doing the research on this in some way, shape, or form, and it was that Sony owns this property now.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking at at some point Sony issued a cease and desist against somebody who was making a port of Lemmings for iOS. So yeah, they own it. I don't know why. But really, outside of Lemmings, I think Horizon would be really interesting outside of the Sony ecosystem. Jumping Flash. That's I don't have much experience with Jumping Flash, but I've always thought it was an interesting property that could work well kind of anywhere. Yeah, I think I'll go with either Lemmings or Parappa would probably be the picks that I would like to see the most. Honestly, the Team Ico games though, the Team Ico games I think would go really well on Nintendo platforms, except they wouldn't work.
No, they definitely wouldn't.
They can't make those things function on platforms 10 times more powerful.
Maybe.
No. Here's what it is. Somebody else has to do the ports.
Well,
anybody else anybody else could have made Shadow of the Colossus work on PlayStation 2. I'm fucking sure of it. This company is all creativity and no tech.
Yeah.
Just my guess. All right, so let's see. Xbox. Jesus. What do they even...
I know my answer for a former, not currently running franchise that I want to see on PlayStation. I also think this is kind of an obvious answer, but I'm all right with it because the answer is Conquer.
Yeah, I would love to see Conquer on Nintendo. Oh wait.
Yeah. Oh wait a second. No, I would love to see Conquer on PlayStation, or Flight Simulator. I just have a really soft spot for Flight Simulator. Actually, no, fuck that. I take all of it back. I just remembered. The answer is Crimson Skies. Never mind. The answer is Crimson Skies. That's the past franchise I want. Fucking love that game. Currently running franchises, I don't fucking remember the name. Oh god, because it's definitely coming out. What the fuck was the game with the big fish and the girl, and it's like Louisiana, South of Midnight?
I think that's it, yeah.
That's the one I really want to come to PlayStation, because if it doesn't, I'm going to have to fucking figure out, like with the Microsoft advertising campaign where it's like, your TV is an Xbox. All right, is it? We're going to find out. Because I have to play this game. I have to. And I'm sure it's coming to Steam too. Yeah, it is. I just looked, but I don't know how well it'll run on the deck. I hope it runs great. That's what I got.
See, the problem here is that so many of their basically any current property they have that's not on Nintendo, that doesn't exist. Ori and the Blind Forest is there. Fucking
isn't Rare Replay your answer though?
Yeah, I guess rare properties in general would be my answer. I don't know if that counts as current or not. So as far as like past things, my number one is Geometry Wars.
Yeah.
Like,
Geometry Wars is so fun.
It's so good. So good. It needs to be there. That or Wizards and Warriors, but I don't think Microsoft owns that. No. This article is completely fucking wrong. A different company owns Wizards and Warriors, and it's just been sitting on it. Current running one, I mean, I think Overwatch would... Isn't Overwatch on Switch? God, I can't fucking remember.
I think it is.
Yeah, I think it might be. I don't know.
Because that's part of the Activision Blizzard shit.
Yeah. I can't think of anything that's not there. That's
is
not
Halo
the rare
on
stuff.
Switch?
Halo is not. But again, I'm not particularly excited about that. What do I want on Switch? I really just want rare properties. I want Killer Instinct. I want Battletoads.
That new Battletoads should be on Switch.
Yeah, Conquer. Doom. It's already on Switch.
Yeah.
Fable, I don't care. Forza, I don't really care. Gears of War, whatever. Yeah. Wolfenstein's on Switch. Anyways, let's keep this.
Yeah.
Let's keep it going. Right. Let's move right on. Good question. Scion Storm, what is the best Beatles album and who is the best Beatle? I have no input on this. I'm just not. I'm gonna
fucking
need
a minute. Fuck you. Because that's like, who's your favorite kid? Like, because what do we mean by who is the best Beatle? It's fucking John. It's John.
It's Jaime Reyes.
Yes, he was very clearly Ted Cord. Fuck. John, I think, is the best Beatle. And I flip-flop between two records. I flip-flop between Revolver and Rubber Soul as to which are the best Beatles records. And the reason that those are the two that I flip between is that before Rubber Soul came out in 65, Revolver came out in 66. Before Rubber Soul, you had all of like in America anyway, you had like the teeny bopper Beatles stuff. You had Introducing the Beatles, which is just like a compilation. Meet the Beatles, the second album that they put out, is also a compilation. Then after that, also these are all in 1964, by the way. In 1964, you had, in order, Introducing the Beatles, Meet the Beatles' second album came out third, A Hard Day's Night, Something New, Beatles 65. Those all came out in 1964, and they're all like compilations and mixtures of stuff. And then we get to Help in 65, and then Rubber Soul. And Rubber Soul is the first Beatles record where they start becoming the Beatles that I adore. Right? I love I Want to Hold Your Hand, that teeny bop. There's a lot of the older Beatles stuff that I love. But once they started doing drugs, they started doing shit like Rubber Soul and Revolver, and then you go to Sgt. Pepper and the Magical Mystery Tour and all that stuff. So a lot of times I argue that Rubber Soul is the more important record because it was pushing a little bit more, but I like Revolver a little bit better.
Huh.
I think the most talented Beatle is George, but his talent didn't always lead to good songs, as evidenced by George Harrison's solo career, which is just all over the place. Yeah, I would say John.
Okay.
Although I think George has the best solo record of any of it. This, like,
Moving on.
Yeah.
RC Metz, best memory of the SAG podcast so far. Please don't pick Reading Fucking Rainbow. That's pure gold, but let's think of something else. The time when Dan said he was thankful for me.
Aw.
That warmed the heart right there, and it was a real surprise, and it just killed me. That was great. One of my favorites.
I also really feel, strangely enough, that particular Thanksgiving episode is where this show took a turn into what it is now. I don't know that that's accurate, but I feel like it might be.
That's fair enough.
Because we were searching for a little bit. Yeah. After the moments of like, it was 4 of us, and it was Mike, and then it was Tiff, and then it was Dean left, and then Tiff left, and then it was, so.
This show's been through a lot in its decade of existence.
A decade's a long time to do a weekly podcast.
It is.
A lot of fucking episodes. 546 of them, to be exact, as we record tonight. God, yours is heartfelt and lovely, and like mine is like obviously, you guys getting me the PS5 and the Steam Deck, like those are incredible, just heartwarming. Like to know that we have that effect on people. Those of you who have donated to the rescue, just absolutely incredible to help us do that work. It's literally like no bullshit. Those donations that you guys made to the rescue fucking saved lives. Like, not just the lives of the animals, but a lot of times it's the lives of these people that these animals go to. Like, you guys have saved the life of a dog that now lives with a military vet who was fucking suffering from PTSD and is still suffering, but is not suffering alone anymore. That's fucking real and tangible and incredible that to be a part of that. You know, and legit, you're part of that. However, because I'm me, one of my absolute favorite moments on the show is getting Matt Much to say duck cunt. So, you know.
I love the moments where I laugh so hard I cry, and I can't remember all of them, so I'll just think back to the most recent one, and it was the fucking Donkey Kong Country Cartoon Express episode.
Yeah, I usually don't toot my own horn on this. I was very good that night.
You really were.
I was very funny. That I enjoyed that episode so much.
That was... And here's the thing. I know we've got a handful of listeners who don't particularly care for the Cartoon Express. And I am sorry. I'm having so much fucking fun with it. I can't... I don't want to stop doing it. And I'm sorry that, once a month there's going to be an episode where there's a segment you don't particularly care for. I am sorry. I'm just having way too much fun with it.
But sometimes it's like a 10-minute segment. You still get all the gold before it. Just don't listen to that part.
All right, it's getting a little late, so we're going to skip ahead. I am going to save all these, obviously, and we're going to try to do more mailbags in the future. Trashman sent us a couple hundred questions. I'm not exaggerating. This is at least a couple hundred questions. No, and we're going to
go through all of them at some point.
Eventually, we'll try. So I'm just going to start randomly poking at them here. So let's see.
Okay.
What is the best bang for your buck DLC you have purchased? Easy. Ode to Castlevania Vampire Survivors.
100%. There's not even an argument.
The cost ratio there is just it's almost insulting. Like, how dare you give me this much for this little amount of money?
Can I give you more money? I feel like I owe you.
What is the best physical video game compilation in a single package, i.e. the Orange Box or Shovel Knight Treasure Trove as examples? Orange Box is pretty high up there.
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden Trilogy for Super NES is probably one of the worst.
Yeah.
That's
Advance
really,
Wars
really bad.
1 and 2.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a really good compilation. Physical compilation. I don't have either of the ones that I wanted this year, but they're pretty high up there. I would argue the Metal Gear Solid Volume 1 and the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. I would argue that those are both really solid. I would lean more towards the Metal Gear collection. because I think there's an insane value for what you get there.
I mean, I want to say Atari 50, but I feel like that's kind of a different animal. Like, it is a video game compilation, but it's also kind of not. So, I'm going to say, of all the things I've ever had the most fun with over the years, I'm going to stick with a classic. I'm going to say Super Mario All-Stars for Super Nintendo.
That's a good one. That's really good. That first Mega Man Legacy Collection, or it wasn't the Legacy Collection then. Was it just the Mega Man Collection?
Mega Man Anniversary Collection.
The Anniversary Collection. I know.
Specifically the PS2
terrible
version.
On the GameCube. Yeah, the PS2 version was like the first time I was like, oh my God, all the Mega Man games are right here. This is so cool.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite one, because that was the first one that I really... Oh, Jesus Christ, I can't believe I bought this. I can't believe I have this, you know? Yeah, I would go with that.
In which film trilogies are the final movies better than the first two?
Oh. None of them.
Indiana Jones.
No. It's not a trilogy.
If we're talking about the original trilogy, then yeah. There was an original trilogy, and then they made two movies like years later. And I don't dislike those movies. I'm just saying, the first three is a trilogy. It was sold as a trilogy. And I think Last Crusade's the best movie out of the three.
If you count Indiana Jones, that's...
I know a lot of people like Raiders better. And no, I don't blame you for that. But I think Last Crusade's a better movie.
Return of the King is probably better than Two Towers and Fellowship. I don't like any of those movies.
I love the Lord of the Rings movies. I don't know if Return of the King's better.
I saw that's the one that I remember the most. I don't know what the fuck happens in Two Towers. I couldn't tell you. I know the fucking Gandalf jumping down the fucking thing in the first one, but then in Return of the King, he's got "You Will Suffer Me." Like, that's pretty fucking dope, and you get the conclusion of the story.
You got one of the best Minas Tirith death, where the Denethor sets himself on fire, then runs off a cliff into a giant battle. Like, it's probably the best death imaginable. Just absolutely spectacular death sequence right there.
I mean, because like Return of the Jedi, I don't think it's better.
No, Return of the Jedi is not better than Empire Strikes Back, no question. And if you're going with the second trilogy, Rise of Skywalker is the weakest one.
If you're going with the original, actually, fuck that. No, the prequel trilogy, I think the third one is the best one. I think Revenge of the Sith is way better than Attack of the Clones or The Phantom Menace. I don't think it's a good movie. But I think
you're probably right, but it makes me sick to say it.
I think it's the best of the three. I think that Obi-Wan and fucking Anakin lightsaber duel carries a lot of fucking weight. It's just such an incredible sequence. There's a lot of fucking shit in that movie. But there's
definitely not Back
I don't
to the Future.
spend any time wandering around with big blue bitches for a while. It's definitely not Back to the Future 3. It's
definitely not The Matrix. It's definitely not Blade.
I do love Blade 3, but the first Blade is just fucking incredible.
That's definitely not Terminator. It's very much not X-Men.
Is it? No, because they made 4. Never mind. I was going to say the third Thor movie, but then they made Love and Thunder, so that doesn't count.
And that's not like
a trilogy.
It really, because that one's really related. It's not like years later they went back and did another thing.
No,
that's kind of where I'm drawing the line with trilogies. You know,
the third Iron Man isn't as good as the first two. Neither of them are as good as the first
Superman
one.
movies, like superhero movies in general. They suffered for a long time. I think the Batman Dark Knight trilogy was the first one that made it to 3 without having a terrible third movie, but it certainly wasn't the best out of the 3.
I'm sure people would argue that who's in the third one? The third one's Bane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't even love Heath Ledger's Joker, and it's better.
How
the
about
third Clerks movie is terrible.
Oh, I liked that one.
I really don't.
How about the Evil Dead? I like Army of Darkness way more than Evil Dead 1 or 2.
I do not. I love Army of Darkness. I adore Army of Darkness. Evil Dead 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time. I totally understand that it's just such a different thing. Army of Darkness is so different than Evil Dead 1 or 2. Evil Dead 2 is a fucking remake of Evil Dead 1 for the most part. Like it's a very loose remake, but God. Yeah. The prequel trilogy, yes. Indiana Jones trilogy, if we count that as a trilogy, I would say yes, the third movie is the best. That's
all right. I have to send this one to you as text. Okay. So I'm going to put this in the SAG chat.
Okay.
And I want you to take it first.
Do you want me to read it?
Once you see the question,
out
it'll make
to
sense.
Everybody?
Once you see the question, it'll make sense.
Oh. Worcestershire, archipelago, charcuterie, equanimity, and I have never seen that fucking word before. Hold on. This isn't a real word. It can't be.
Is it? I don't know.
Flockanauchian hippolilification.
What the fuck? The action or habit of estimating something as worthless.
Yes. That would be the Flockanauchi helipification. I'll make you fucking do this shit. Yeah, Worcestershire, archipelago, charcuterie, and equanimity.
I say them all the same as you, except for Worcestershire. I don't say Shire, I say Shire, Worcestershire. And that's mostly because of a joke that my dad used to tell me, because we put Worcestershire sauce in it's one of the ingredients in our family recipe for spaghetti sauce. And my dad would tell me this stupid-ass joke. I must have told this on the show at some point in our lives, because we've been doing this for a decade. But, a mush-mouth food critic walks into a fancy restaurant, and he gets this dish, and it's got Worcestershire sauce on it. But they didn't have a name. But he says, "This delicious sauce. What is it? It's Worcestershire sauce." He says, "What's Worcestershire sauce?"
Yeah.
Get it?
Like caramel, caramel. How do you say it?
I say caramel.
It's caramel.
It's really not.
I know there's another A. I know. Pecan or pecan or pecan.
It really, situationally,
it's a pecan pie, but
it's a pecan pie.
Oh, no, God, no. You would not make it in the South. They would be like, you fucking Yankee prick. You'd be right
That's
out.
Me.
Do you say water or wooder?
I say water.
Water. Yeah, I don't say wooder. Okay.
No.
Anyway, sorry.
What song from Donkey Kong Country is underrated? That's easy. That's Ice Cave Chant. I can't imagine you have an answer to this one.
Nope. I'm racking my brain thinking of the one that Cranky Con is spinning on the fucking old school thing in the beginning. That's underrated.
Title screen music. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. That's my answer. I don't know if that's a good answer, but
how many of the following songs can you guess? And then he's a link to a Google Drive folder with like 52 songs in it. I don't know.
I'll tell you what. We will do that as a special episode.
So there you go.
At some point, just for Patreon listeners. Unless Trashman is not a Patreon listener, he gets it for free. The rest of y'all gotta fucking pony up.
Ooh, Kris, what are your top 3 Mystery Science Theater 3000 episodes? That would be Outlaw, Pod People, and Mitchell. Off the top of my head.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, I know you don't like that
I think those are all outstanding examples of the genre.
True or false? Ketchup is more versatile than tomatoes.
False.
False. Tomatoes
100% false.
Tomatoes can be any number of things, including ketchup.
Including ketchup. that's right there.
Who coined the phrase, coined a phrase?
I believe that was Alexander Hamilton.
What is white privilege?
Oh, God. How deep do you want to go? Here, no, it's a funny question. I have the answer for you. Do you want to know what white privilege is?
I do.
Here is what white privilege is. We teach slavery as an economic struggle. And when we teach the Civil War, we teach it as a fight over states' rights. Because white people wrote those books. That is white privilege. You have arguments made in scholarly articles that slave owners didn't beat their slaves to death because they were their property and they needed them to work. It is an absurd white privilege notion. That's your answer.
I certainly couldn't put it any better. When did you feel you got ripped off by a game?
Oh, man.
Double Dragon 4.
Ripped off by a game.
I think I only spent like $5 on Double Dragon 4 and I wanted my fucking money back.
Yeah, that game sucks. I think Bubsy, when I bought Bubsy for the Super Nintendo. Because I was like, oh, this looks cool. He's got the Tood. I'm into it. And then, like, I got Bubsy. And it's awful. Oh, God.
Dan,
So
what's the best barbecue in Texas?
What's the best barbecue in Texas? Oh, fuck, dude. Literally any mom and pop shop that you can find. Like, food truck, it does not matter. It's all fucking great.
What's the best
breakfast
barbecue
tacos?
in New Jersey?
Best breakfast tacos are from a gas station.
Okay. What's the best barbecue in New Jersey? That wasn't specifically directed at you. That's hard because I haven't been to all the barbecue places in New Jersey. Probably my favorite one that I've been to here. Oh my God, what's the name of that place? It's not Henry Hott's. It's, I can't remember, but it's really fucking good.
I really like Whole Hog. It's a barbecue place around here. It's really, really good. Their brisket is outstanding. I'm trying to get the name of this barbecue place in Midland from TIFF. I think it was in like an old airplane hangar. It was incredible. But it's fucking in Midland, so nobody's ever going to go.
Boy, we've got some hard questions here. What's your favorite genre of porn? Do you have a favorite actor or actress?
I did.
I got nothing.
Okay, I'll be honest. I loved when I found a tape in my parents' bedroom. Way too young. And I saw a bunch of naked ladies on the cover. So I immediately, because my parents left me alone all the time, and I was 10 or 11, I immediately took this tape over to my buddy Nick's house, and our friend Billy came over too, because we were like, we have to watch this. And we put it on, and we made a note. Like, one of us, I don't remember who said it first, but one of us was like, wait, we got to rewind it to this exact spot so they don't know that they've watched it, because when they put it in, which is a fucking weird concept to rationalize as like an 11-year-old, but whatever, it has to get back to this. And the movie was called Treasure Chest, and it stars the hedgehog himself. I didn't know it was a big deal that Ron Jeremy was in this movie, because Christy Canyons was in the movie. And why do you think they called her Christy Canyons, Chris?
Because she liked to go hiking?
Exactly. There is a scene where she goes hiking, and then she blows like a park ranger. It's really weird. No, it was Christy Canyons for a long, long time. And then the only person who replaced that was Misty Dawn. And she is now retired, so it's probably back to Christy Canyon. As for favorite genre, it's too. I don't have a favorite genre. This
is how repressed a person I am. I didn't know there were genres of porn to begin with.
Really? Oh God! What I will tell you what I don't like is that currently the most popular shit that is being made, and maybe this has changed, because I got to tell you, these last 6 months on chemo, there's been a lot less fooling around either with myself or my significant other. Because it's just like, I can't imagine anything breaking through the funk, which is very sad. But a lot of the current trend in this stuff is like taboo, stepmom, stepsister, that sort of stuff. And
really?
Having grown up in a family with that, I see where they're coming from the taboo out, like, ooh, this is naughty and we've done everything else, but it's just so, to me, that's a bridge too far. But that being said, I don't judge anyone for what they get their rocks off to if it's not hurting anybody. You know what I mean? Like, if you're watching stepsister porn, fucking go nuts. Like, that's awesome. If that's what gets you there, that's great. Express it in a healthy manner. Yeah.
You're not related by blood.
Yeah, sure. Like, it is what it is. But yeah, I can't give you the favorite, and I'm not trying to back away from saying what it is. Sometimes it's blowjobs, sometimes it's feet, sometimes it's whatever. Like, I can't answer.
Fair enough. All right, pop quiz question: which of the following systems had a Monopoly game on them? Yes or no? Wii U.
Yes.
Saturn.
Yes.
Dreamcast.
No.
Game Boy Color.
Yes.
PSP.
No.
3DS.
Yes.
Atari Lynx.
Probably. It seems
all
weird
right, let's
enough.
see. My answers. Wii U, I'm going to say no. Saturn, I'm going to say no. Dreamcast, no. Game Boy Color, yes. PSP, yes. 3DS, yes. Atari Lynx, no. Those are my guesses. Feel free to check us at home. Following the pop quiz
I have already
questions-
forgotten what I said. Sorry.
Following the pop quiz question, he said popcorn questions. Air or oil popped?
Neither. I fucking hate popcorn.
All right, then I'll answer these ones. I go with air. Special kernel or anything generic, I'm good with just about anything. Butter, absolutely. Seasonings, absolutely. All right, we probably have time for like one or two more. We should really wrap this up. We've been going for a long time here, and there's so many questions. Pie or cake?
Pie.
I'm going to go with
There's
cake.
a reason?
Just because I think, all right, so a pie that I like is always going to be better than a cake that I don't, than a cake that I like. But a pie that I don't like will almost always be way worse than a cake I don't like.
Oh,
So in interest of safety, I'm going to say cake.
Tiff used to make cakes for people. She made the cake for Evan's wedding. She used to do like the fancy wedding cake stuff a lot, especially when we lived in Florida. She was like, that was when the cake thing like blew up with like the Cake Boss and Duff in Charm City Cakes in Baltimore. Like, it's all over Food Network and whatnot. And Tiff was like, I can do that shit. That's fucking easy. And then she did. And as she was like testing the ways to do like a topsy-turvy cake and a this cake and a that cake, I had so much fucking cake that unless it is either German chocolate or carrot, you could fucking miss me with every other type of cake there is. If I never have a piece of chocolate cake again in my life, it will be too soon.
Okay, then.
But German chocolate cake, that's a different story. With pecans, not pecans. Fucking savage. And carrot cake, really fucking good carrot cake. Outstanding.
Wow. All right. Looks like these later questions got super interesting. Yeah, we're definitely going to need to do this again. All right. Let's see. This one kind of piggybacks off of this other question, so I don't want to go with that one. There's a lot of reference for arcade games and oftentimes a comparison between them and their respective ports to consoles. Consoles notoriously have a lot of shovelware, but I always got the impression there was no room for failure in the arcade realm. Do you believe the majority of arcade games released were good games? Have you played any arcade games that completely sucked? What are your favorite ports?
Oh, man.
I've definitely played arcade games that I think suck. I think Baby Pac-Man sucks.
Baby Pac-Man's bad.
It's a fantastic, it's such a great idea. The half pinball table, half game.
Yeah.
But the game is fucking trash, and the table is not very fun. That hologram game that Sega released, I can't remember the name of it.
Shit. Yeah.
Time something.
Like looking down at the table.
Yeah. It's, again, super neat technology, grabs your eyes. It's not a good game. It
sucks.
Just
I think Dragon's Lair sucks.
Dragon's Lair as a game sucks, but I think it gets a pass just because of when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that was the.
But it's not a good game.
It's an interactive DVD menu. It's not even a game.
That makes it not a good game.
Let's see. Do you believe the majority of?
I think. Hold on. Time Killers sucks. I like it for what it is. It sucks.
It's not very good. No.
There's a War Gods. That sucks.
Yeah.
There was a lot of bad fighting games.
There were a lot of bad arcade games. Sometimes they were just shoved out in hopes that they would earn enough quarters to move on to the next one. So yeah, I've played arcade games that completely suck. What are my favorite arcade ports? I mentioned Mortal Kombat 2 earlier for Super Nintendo. That's one of my absolute favorite ports. I adore Space Invaders for Atari 2600. I think it is probably the best version of Space Invaders there is. I also really like Defender on 2600 because, it plays with I think it plays really well with the joystick. It's got such great sound. I love Defender on 2600.
Zaxxon on the Coleco, I like quite a bit. Like House of the Dead, that worked pretty well.
Oh, House of the Dead 2 on Dreamcast. House of the Dead 2 on Dreamcast. House of the Dead 2 on
Dreamcast is
I love that.
A really good port.
Soul Calibur on Dreamcast. Better than the arcade.
Yeah, I was going to say Soul Calibur, definitely. Trying to
see, like NES games don't really count as ports most of the time. Like Rygar is not a port of the arcade game.
So much better.
Yeah. Bionic Commando is a different game.
Rastan's really good. I don't know enough of the arcade Rastan to say that it's... and it's unfair to go with the Neo Geo shit, because,
that's literally the arcade game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just literally the game. So Saturday Night Slam Masters, that's not a port, but it's fucking great. Burger Time, The NES Burger Time, I think, is a really good port.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I enjoy playing that. NES Elevator Action is really good.
Ooh, NES Bubble Bobble.
NES Bubble Bobble's really good.
Love that one.
The port of the Turtles game. It's not perfect, but the Turtles beat 'em up port.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
It's good. It's impressive for what it is. You know. Are we answering what's the best port? Because
no, just
the
favorites.
best port is. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Never mind.
All right. Let's see here. Let's finish this off with something silly. Duroc Pig. It was a silly joke question anyway, but if you had to give each other a fursona, what animal would it be and why? I mean, I'm not entirely sure what a fursona is. Is that just like if you were an animal?
That is a cautionary Google search.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to do that.
That's a furry.
A fursona is a furry?
Yeah, I think so.
If you had to give each other a fursona, what animal would it be and why?
I'm going to need some time to think about that. I will answer that next week.
I say Dan's a dog.
I think that's accurate.
He's fiercely
I'm a golden
loyal
retriever.
And excellent to cuddle.
Yeah, 100% on all accounts.
Yeah.
I think I am 100% a golden retriever.
I guess I'll ask this last one just because it's Christmas themed. Zabu asks, it's almost Christmas and there are 50 million versions of A Christmas Carol out there, so favorite versions of the main characters. Favorite version of Scrooge? Michael Caine for me.
Bill Murray.
Marley.
The Disney animated.
Again, the Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah, oh, fuck. All right, Statler and Waldorf. I forgot. Yeah, 100%.
It's gonna be
it's
gonna be
the Muppets
Christmas
for the rest
Carol,
of them.
Almost. No, I mean, well, all right, so Bob Cratchit.
Bobcat Goldthwait. I do love fucking Scrooged.
I'm gonna go with Kermit the Frog.
Although he's not. That's not accurate. Kermit the Frog.
Tiny Tim. This one I'm going to say actually because I don't like Robin the character in Muppets.
Right.
So I'm going to say that my favorite Tiny Tim is the cartoon Tiny Tim from Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol.
I will go back to Scrooged with Mary Lou Retton.
I mean, the little kid sings about raspberry dressing on a Christmas tree. Freaking love it.
That's fair.
And the ghosts.
Mary Lou Retton does a background off Handspring.
That's true.
And says Merry Christmas, everyone. So, pretty great.
What about the ghosts?
Oh, man. Scrooged. Dexter Poindexter. The fucking fairy chick. Maybe the Ghost of Christmas Past, the first one. I could argue Muppets, maybe.
I love the Ghost of Christmas Present. The Ghost of Christmas Past and the Muppets one is really creepy. But I love the Ghost of Christmas Present. And the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come is pretty similar in most iterations. Silent, death-looking.
Yeah. Although, I guess Dexter Poindexter is the Ghost of Christmas Past. And then Christmas Present is the Pixie. And still to come is not the old guy that he shoots a bunch of times. Kablam! Kablam! Kablow! It was fucking great.
All right, well, I think that's going to wrap us up. We've been going for quite a long time, and there are a metric ton of other questions that we haven't even sniffed. So, yes, Unas11 said first 14-hour episode. I think we're going to call it there because it's getting late. It's time for us all to go to bed, and this has been fun.
It has been. Can we promise to do this quarterly?
I will aim to do this quarterly. I'm not going to promise it, but I'm going to aim to, because I promised to do trivia quarterly, and that didn't happen this year. It came close.
Yeah, but just based on Trash Man's list, we can do this fucking quarterly.
That's true.
This is zero work for you.
That's a valid point. All right, I will aim to put this on the calendar and do this quarterly. So with that is our show. Join us next time for the December 10, 20, 30, 40 that Dan was prepared for tonight. It's the final one of the year, so I'm sure it's going to be interesting. The 10/30/34 has been going pretty well, so I'm excited. I'm excited, Syphil. We've got Christmas, we've got New Year's, I've got time off. The gym's going well. Things are going okay. Things are going okay. You're almost going to be done with your treatment soon.
Yep.
Shit's going well. And with that, we're wrapping it up. We're on most social media platforms. If you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes, and you'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. If you'd like to get early access to this show's episodes, as well as a bevy of other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network, check out our Patreon, also linked to in the show notes. It helps keep this show running week after week, and all our patrons are loved and appreciated. This show's theme song, Square Roots, was written by banjo guy Ali. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, we'd like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making the show listenable for all you folks. We'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place. That is it. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.
And Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
There you go. God bless us. God bless us, everyone.